Hey, Paula. Hello. Hey, girlie. Can you hear me? Oh, wait a minute. Where's my... Oh, wait a minute. Where's my... God dog it. Oh, okay. I dropped the link for you, Paula. I can't see all my comments for some reason. They're not... Oh, they're popping up slowly. I do see there's 4 people in here, though. Oh, let me... So today I wanted to talk about depression. I did a video on Monday. Hold on a minute. I wanted to talk about depression. Okay, there. I did a video on Monday and was talking about depression, and I wanted to talk more about that because you never know who's out there that is suffering from that. Suffering from depression. Oh, okay. Hold on. Hold on for a minute, you guys. I'll be right back. I have to go turn my stove off. Hold on. Sorry. Okay, I'm back, you guys. Sorry about that. I had something on the stove and I didn't even realize it. 5 people in the building. Hey, Sonia. Hey, Sonia. Hey, Matine. Who else? Sonia, Teen, Paula. Hold on. I dropped the link. So yeah, like I was saying, I wanted to talk about depression. And I did a video on it on Monday, and I was just hitting on um just a little, I just touched on it. Paula said 5 people in the building. 5 people in the building. Please thumbs up the live stream for Tracy. And the bush babies, feel free to hop out of the bushes. We would love to have a discussion with you. Yeah, we would love to have you join in. I dropped the link. Hey girl.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, nothing but a G thing, baby. No.
Hey, yeah, what's
Hey,
up,
nothing but a
everybody?
G
What's going
thing,
on?
baby.
What's going
Look,
on this
that's all I
evening?
know. What's going on, you guys? I
Welcome
see
to the
Sonya. I got
chat.
yeah. So yeah, I wanted to talk about that because um we might as well just get started because I don't never hold more than what they say, 7 people.
Six people.
Right.
Right, but we don't care if it's two people
So
here or one person. This is an important topic and
yeah,
subject, and I'm glad that you are
it
breaking the
is.
ice and the and laying down the
Yeah,
mold for other people because this is a topic that is so taboo that nobody really wants to talk about. It's a lot of people that
yeah,
are suffering in silence. They are ashamed to have
yeah,
depression and be dealing with it, and it's something that some people don't
yeah.
want to talk about. Yeah.
And you're right. They're suffering in silence, and they're ashamed, and they're afraid to come out because a lot of people, they don't understand, and then they think something's wrong with them. Oh, she got mental problems, something wrong with her, because they don't understand. So people are afraid to be laughed at. They're afraid that somebody's going to talk about them or look at them differently, and you'll be surprised. A lot of people suffer from depression, and I think too, since this pandemic situation is going on, more people are suffering. The depression is coming out even more because they're stuck in the house, and they're going stir crazy. And when you're stuck in the house and you can't go anywhere, all you have is time, and then you time to start thinking and reflecting, and it's just a sad situation. So yeah, I wanted to bring it to the forefront. Do you also suffer from it?
I do. I do. I also have issues with depression. I totally believe that I have some seasonal affective disorder going on as well. Like during the wintertime here in Minnesota, the weather is just
Mm.
cold all the time. The sun doesn't really come out, and so we're just going through this period of darkness. And when the sun doesn't
Mhm.
shine, you kind of feel some type of way because you're stuck indoors, and that can
Mhm.
get very depressing. The quarantine gets depressing, and if you already suffer from depression, it can kind of make those things worse. So
It adds to it because I do too. I have issues. I suffer from it. We all have a story to tell. People don't realize they sometimes people make comments when you as a woman have been cheated on, or if you're a single parent, or if you're overweight, or if you're you know having doing things, people, they forget that they have to have a story to tell. They also have a past. They also have, we're all as people, we all are broken in some type of way. We all are broken as people. Hey, 1SP. she
oh yeah.
she dropped off, 1SP. So did you want to touch a little bit on yours? I can touch a little bit on mine. I don't know if I want to go in too much detail, because people can be very critical on YouTube, and people, I find that they take your story that you're giving them to share your story to try to help someone that may be going through it. And sometimes there's people out here on YouTube that would take your story and make fun of you and use it against you. So I don't want to. I'm a share, but I'm not going to go too deep with mine.
Right. I don't think I'm gonna go. um, I'm echoing.
Yeah, turn down your phone. I do want to talk about it. I don't have to. I don't. I'm not going to reveal what I'm actually depressed over. but I am revealing that I do suffer from depression, and it could, and I think it stems from my childhood. Um, I didn't. I mean, I had a okay childhood. I didn't have. It wasn't the best, and it wasn't the worst. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Um, but I was bullied a lot when I was younger because I was, back then we called it chubby. I was bigger than a lot of the kids, when I was in elementary school. And then in junior high, when I got to junior high school, I was teased a lot. And then I started trying to diet, and I was, starving myself, not eating, doing stuff like that because I was body shamed so much growing up, and that it affected my, confidence and my self-esteem. And I
Mm-hmm.
found myself in a lot of situations to where I was, teased. A group of kids stood around me one day, and just all of them just teased me, was, roasting me for my weight. And I don't know if you ever been have you ever been in a situation where you're standing in the middle and all these kids are standing around you like a circle, and you're in the middle of a circle. I was like a donut. I was the donut hole, and they was the donut, and they all just talked, made fun of me. And that happened to me. I think I was in the 7th grade, and it was bad. Um, I remember it as it happened today. So that affected me. So throughout my life growing up, I had a problem with, I didn't think I was pretty enough. My family would say, "Girl, you pretty. You got pretty eyes. You got pretty skin. You this and that and the other." But I was teased so much until I started to believe that I was ugly, and I wasn't worthy, and I
Oh
was
no.
fat. It was bad, and I don't care how much weight I lost. I was always fat. I never felt good enough. I never felt good enough. I was bullied. I was, body shamed. So it affected me growing up. Um, of course, thank you, 1SP. Um, oops. Oh, I didn't even know you were off. I wasn't even looking at the girl.
I'm
I didn't
sorry,
even
I
know
had to
you was
go
off.
back out and come back in because I kept hearing an echo.
Oh, I was talking, but I was looking at the wall. I wasn't even looking at my screen until now. And it affected me growing up. Even, I think growing up in high school, junior high, I would, uh, have friends that would, I would, how can I put it? I've been hurt a lot, betrayed a lot by friends, girlfriends.
Mm-hmm.
That's why my trust level is low when it comes to friends, because I'm very, um, loyalty is like my number one thing. And I think that because of what I've been through growing up. You know what I mean? People
Mm-hmm.
forget that what you've been through as a child, it helps mold you as an adult as you're growing up. And sometimes those issues that you have growing up affects your decision making. Your decision making, antenna is broken. And sometimes we get into I misspelled audio, Lord. And sometimes your decision making, um, antenna is broken. Did you want to add to that?
I just wanted to say, like, I'm sorry about what you had to experience, and in school, because I honestly I have never experienced like being bullied as a child. Here and there, people, make fun of you or tease or whatever, but I've never really seriously, truly experienced being bullied until I came onto this YouTube platform. And when you described someone body shaming you and how you felt like you were sitting in the middle of the circle and all the kids were just sitting around you, like I can just, that I can picture how you felt, because that's kind of like how I felt as I
Hmm.
was also being body shamed on this platform. So I can totally relate in that aspect, even though it happened at two different points in our lifetime.
Hmm.
But I can't say that at this point that that would affect me to the point where I would believe what they're saying, because I know that I'm a beautiful person regardless of what
As a
someone has
child,
to say
though,
about my
remember
body.
that happened to me as a child.
But as a
Remember that
child,
happened to me as a child. When you're a child, you're you're very impressionable, and you tend to believe the things that are being said to you as a
hmm,
child. Now,
yep,
now that I'm older, of course, that's different. But as a child, it affected me through junior high school, through high school. It was, yeah.
hey, sincerely, hey, Lucy, how are
Hey,
you?
sincerely. Hey, sis. So
Yeah,
go ahead and
so
ask your story. I'm sorry.
I can, yeah, I can totally relate as far as dealing with certain issues as a child, and those issues kind of carrying on into your adulthood. Um, I don't know if you guys know about the saying, the black sheep of the family. And so
Hmm.
I kind of had issues as a kid as being the black sheep at some points, or feeling like I was black sheep of the family, even though they would say, no, that's not true. You know, you always feel that way. And it's like, um, I grew up in a household full of light skinned individuals, and not to say that I'm like totally dark or anything myself, but I was opposite of everybody in the house. So I just felt different. And sometimes I didn't feel enough love. I wouldn't say that I'm my mother was a great mother, but I just feel like I just felt different, from everybody else in the house, and sometimes treated differently. And I can't say that it was for sure because I was darker and shorter and everybody else was lighter in the house. I just felt a kind of way, you know what I'm saying? And I can't really explain
Hmm.
it, you know. I don't want to get too deep into it because I don't want to be judged. Um, Thank
Yeah.
you sincerely.
Yeah.
Um, but it's a lot of colorist issues going on. Let's just put it like that.
Uh-huh.
Um,
And so, like, for me, um, oh, I'm sorry, Lucy. You're just coming in. We're talking about depression and trigger things that trigger it. And one of the trigger things that triggered it for us was this pandemic because, being stuck in the home and everything. But I wanted to talk about depression and people that are suffering from it, letting them know that they're not alone, that they're not the Lone Ranger. And so I was just, I'm going to fill you in. I was just explaining to the audience that my depression started when I was a child, and it stemmed from being bullied, body shamed, humiliated in public because of my weight, being teased, being heavy set. That's what we were talking about.
mhm. And I think mine
Just to
came
deal with
from adulthood, just experiencing things that I've went through in adulthood. Some relationship issues, dealing with family members who have illnesses and things like that. Just
hmm
having been a teenage mother and having to grow up,
hmm
kind of fast,
fast.
and having
Hmm.
to take care of my siblings when I was younger, when things were happening, where my mother was sick sometimes and had to be, hospitalized. I would have to take on the role of being mom, and that's stressful because I'm already a mom at a young age, and then I'm having to look after my sister and my brother, and so I had to take on so many adult responsibilities that I didn't really get to have the chance to be a real teenager and do what teenagers got to do, because I had to grow up and be a mom, and I also had to take responsibility for the household as well. So I think a lot of my depression stems from just life experiences that I went through, stress that went untreated and kind of just turned into depression.
And like for me, um, I got into my very first boyfriend. I will reveal this because It was what, 30 years ago, so I don't care. But I was so when I started okay, so I was how can I put it? So when you have low self-esteem, okay, and your confidence is low, um so my first boyfriend, I love oh God, I loved me some Anthony. Um I think I started really caring about him because he was the one person that showed me attention as far as outside of my home, as far as a boy, okay? And because of my self-esteem, I wasn't really thinking clearly. Okay, so I got with him. He was my first, and he didn't treat me well. Okay, and he would mistreat me emotionally, which added on to my depression. And I thought that because he was still in my life and being with me, I thought that he really liked me. Now that I'm older, I see that he didn't, you know. But back then, um, I let him, and see back then when I was growing up, 'cause I'm much older than you, mental abuse wasn't really talked about. Depression wasn't really talked about. So when I would act out and be upset and crying and everything I was going through, um, you know, folks thought that I would just had issues. They didn't know what it was, you know. And so looking back on that, he was mentally abusing me. And I stayed with him because I felt accepted, like no, even though I'm fat, he still likes me. You know what I'm saying? If I'm making any sense at all.
Yeah, you making a whole lot of sense. Let's see. Sincerely, Agency says, I always tell you, I see your strength. I know that you're a strong woman. I support you and you are amazing. Thank you so much. You are also a divinely amazing woman as well, Lucy. I appreciate you. Um, I totally get where you're coming from. I have been at a point in my life where I have been mentally abused as well. And after you begin to hear things for so long, it's kind of like how you heard people saying, fat shaming you and body shaming you.
Mhm.
Sometimes you do begin to believe what that person is telling you,
Mhm.
because you hear it so much.
Mhm.
And especially when it's
Yeah.
coming from somebody who loves you and cares for you, then
Mhm.
you begin to
At
think,
least I
okay,
thought then.
well, maybe it
Mhm.
is some validity to what they're saying, even though it is mental
Exactly.
abuse.
Mhm. And so that added to the depression. You know what I'm saying? And it was untreated. It was untreated
Hmm.
back then.
Oh,
You
yeah.
know, one SP said, one SP says this is mental awareness month.
Yes, it
Booger
is.
time. What's up, booger time? I had to say that. Never mind. Keep going. I had
It,
to say, I will jump in it more and tell you more. So, what about you? What were you going to say? How were you in high school? Were you were you depressed when you were a child?
I could say that my depression kind of began in my high school years, early adulthood, because like I said, in my teenage years, I had to grow up fast. I was also, in love head over heels by, a man that was older than me at the time, paying me some attention, but he also had, another girlfriend. So he was just going back and forth between me and the other girl. And he had another child with the other girl. And it was just the back and forth battle. I felt like I was fighting over this man and he was telling me one thing and going over and telling her another. He would make me promises. We're going to be together. I'm going to leave her for good. And, I had to keep going through that. And, him just the mental games and the mental abuse. And when he would get mad at me, he would say certain things. Oh, I don't want you anyway because you're this, you're that, and typical games that men play. And so it kind of weighs on you heavy. And it fucks with you mentally. And when you're going through certain
Yeah.
traumas in your life, it can cause
Mhm.
depression. And at that time, my depression was not being treated. I didn't really seek
Mhm.
out for help. Um, Probably into my adulthood. Yeah, I wasn't. It wasn't
Me too.
until maybe my late 20s I probably
Me
started to
too.
seek some help. And I remember going to see
Me
my
too.
physician, and I was crying, and I said, I need help. I don't know if it's medication or I need to start seeing a therapist, but
Mhm.
I need something. And so I had started some therapy at that time,
Mhm.
but I felt at the time the therapist was digging too much. She was asking
Mhm.
me for too much information. And the way I grew up in my household is, you don't share what's going on in the house. You don't tell people your business.
Mhm.
You don't, whatever
Mhm.
goes on in this fucking house, it stays in this
Stays
damn
in
house.
this
Okay.
exactly.
And so with
Exactly.
that mentality and me trying to go to a therapist to try to, put all my thoughts and feelings out on the table and tell this therapist what I have been through in my life, it began to be too much and I got scared and I backed off. I didn't even go back to see her for a long time. Because I just felt she was digging too much. It was too much, it was we were making a lot of progress, but then I felt like I was revealing too much and it scared me. And I didn't want, like I said, I backed off. I got scared and I stopped going to that therapist for a while. But later down the road, I actually found a really good therapist who I still see. And I go to see her every 2 weeks. It started off every single week, but I kind of graduated to every 2 weeks.
Mhm.
I tried
Okay.
medication before,
Okay.
and no,
That's what
no
I'm talking
medication has
about.
worked. So, I'm just going to
Okay.
be honest with you there.
Okay. Okay. Sometimes, and I believe so much in therapy. I didn't know. Now, let me tell you when I realized I was depressed. I didn't know what was wrong with me. I remember always crying as a kid and always laying in the dark and always playing like slow music.
Hmm.
And I would just cry off the music. And my mother one day said, what is wrong? Snap out of it. What's going on? And so I didn't realize it was depression until I was in after I got out of high school, I met my husband, well, my ex-husband now, my daughter's father. I got married at 20 years old. I had my daughter at 21. And after I had my daughter, after I had the baby, I was what they call now, I forgot what you call that after you have a baby, you go get depressed. I
Postpartum
mean, you get
depression.
yes. When that came, it hit me like a ton of bricks. It was bad because I had that and everything else in my past, and it I was totally depressed for like 6 months after I had her. And then
Hmm.
I went to Kaiser and I seen back then I was on Kaiser. I seen a therapist then, and I was able to talk about it. And they gave me something to help me sleep because I even as a kid I used to suffer from insomnia. I didn't know what it was, but it was always hard for me to go to sleep at night. And back then they didn't know anything about insomnia like they do now.
And that's
So
also a mental health disorder too, insomnia. So for
yeah.
people who are
Mm,
listening right now and have trouble sleeping, that is a mental health issue. Just so you guys know and are aware for mental health illness, mental health awareness month. That's also
mhm.
a mental health issue.
It really is. And um I still suffer from insomnia. I don't have it often, but I do get it
I do
because
too.
my mind I can't get my mind to stop going. Sometimes when I lay down in bed, my mind is going. I can't get it to stop. I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about that. I'm thinking about this. I'm thinking about that. I can't get my mind to stop. That's why I keep the TV on at night because I'm listening to other things. I'm not listening to myself. I'm able
Hmm.
to fall asleep with the TV on. I can be knocked out sleep. As soon as that TV goes off, I pop up
Hmm.
because sleeping with the TV on helps me not think about what's in my head. I'm listening to some other. voices and not my own. I know it sounds like a bitch is crazy when a guy said voices, but that's the truth. I'm not listening to my issues. I'm not listening to myself. I mean, hearing other stuff outside.
Right.
And that's why, yeah. And so that's why I have to have the TV on some nights when I'm feeling like I have insomnia. But that's when I figured out that I was depressed, and I did see a therapist. I still see one. It's been hard to get to one now. When Obamacare came out, it was hard to get appointments for the therapy because it opened up the floodgates for a lot of new patients for um, for the hospitals. So
Hmm.
it takes like 6 months now to get an appointment, anywhere from 3 to 6 months to get an appointment. That's how bad it is.
Sugar Delights is in the house.
Oh,
Hello, how are you doing, Miss
hi,
Sugar Delights?
hey, hey, sugar. Hold on, I'm typing you in. We're talking about depression. Hold on. Thanks for coming in. We're talking about depression. So yeah. So I don't have insomnia as bad as I did back then, but I do get it. I do
Hmm.
get it
I
now,
think
and so
that
that's why. Huh? Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I think insomnia is just like depression. I think sometimes it's a conditional issue where if you're going through something at the moment, then it'll be triggered. Like you won't be able to sleep because you have so many things going on in your mind and you're going through something, and so you won't be able to really rest, like you said, because your mind is just racing and you're hearing these things in your head. And no, for the people who are listening, I don't hear voices in my head. I don't have multiple personalities. I have been, um, type of things have been said about me on this platform, and it's not true. I do not hear
Mhm.
voices, but sometimes when you think to yourself, you can hear your thoughts. Like I can hear myself if I'm thinking about something. If you look at something and you're thinking about something in your head, like just for example, let's say I saw Tracy with a new outfit on or something, and I didn't tell her out loud what I thought about her outfit. I'm like in my head saying, "Oh wow, that dress is really beautiful on Tracy," but I didn't say it out
That's
loud. Like we
normal
all have
stuff.
thoughts,
That's normal to say that.
you know.
That's, yeah. And let me just put that disclaimer out. I don't hear voices like I'm crazy. What I meant by that is I'm not thinking so much. When my mind is going and you're thinking about all your bills and this and that, and your mind is going and it's going and it's going.
Hmm.
I like to hear the TV going. The TV helps me sleep because it takes my mind off of my own thoughts. Okay, that's what I meant by that.
Yeah. And I think for some people that don't even have like diagnosed or clinical depression, like I said, I think I said it in one of your comment section, like I think everybody has gone through some form of depression at some point in their life. Like you could be in denial about it all you want, but we have all suffered through some sort of sadness and depression. Have you ever had any issues where I know you said you suffer from insomnia, Tracy, but have you ever had issues where you just slept too much? Because when I get in some of my bouts of depression, I tend to sleep a lot. And some days it's really difficult for me to get out of the bed, and get
Yes,
going. And um, the only thing that really motivates me is my children and, knowing that I have to get up and I have to go to work, important things like that. But other than that, sometimes I just want to stay in the bed. Like my bed is my comfort zone.
yes.
I
Your
sleep.
safety
I
net.
sleep it
I
away.
I did that on Sunday. I slept all day. I was down. And I know and sometimes you can sleep too much till it makes you tired.
Hmm.
With depression, you have no interest in anything. Your interest in things are low. You don't want to get out of bed. You don't want to put on any clothes. You don't want to um uh talk to anyone. Your interest in things are you don't have any interest in having fun. So absolutely, absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely. I
even like
that
talking
on
to
Sunday.
family and friends, sometimes you just like kind of seclude yourself. I know that when I go through my issues, sometimes I will seclude myself. I will not talk to people. I will not answer my phone. Um, and it's not like I'm a huge social person anyway, but I will sometimes just close off. Like sometimes you just shut down and close off from other people because you're going through it and you really don't want to put that off on somebody else. And so it's just
Mhm.
my way of trying to protect myself, but then protect others because I don't want to put my problems off on other people. So I just would rather avoid people when I'm going through my funk and just not be bothered. I don't know if you have that issue too, Tracy, but um
Repeat that again.
like some people will reach out to you. I know like when you're depressed, like everybody will be calling you like, "Hey, let's go do this, let's go do that." And when I'm depressed, I will not answer my phone. I will kind of seclude myself or cut
Oh,
myself
yeah,
off from the
isolate. Okay,
society and
you're isolate.
just be in a cloud
Yeah,
and
you're
be in
isolator.
a bubble by myself, you know?
Yeah, you're an isolator. You
Yep.
isolate. Yes,
Isolated.
I
That's the
isolate
word.
too.
Yep. That's what I was trying
Yeah,
to
I
think of.
isolate as well. Yes. Ooh, that's part of it. You will isolate yourself because you want to keep yourself safe. You don't want to be around anyone. You want to be in your own world. You isolate. Yes, I do that too. Yes, I do. And one thing I do know that a lot of people don't really like to talk about depression. Some people get panic attacks. Some
Hmm.
people get, um, panic attacks. What's the other one that you can get?
Anxiety, that's another
Anxiety.
issue that I have. I suffer from anxiety disorder. And you get the panic attacks. You get my panic attacks kind of just came on out of nowhere. Like I didn't understand why I was feeling the way I was feeling. Like I would get
Hmm.
shortness of breath, and my
Hmm.
heart would start beating really fast, and um, a
Hmm.
lot of my panic attacks would come when I was sitting down doing my bills and stuff. Like, am I gonna have enough money? Like I know I have enough money to pay my
Yeah.
bills, but in my mind, I'm
Hmm.
like, oh my God, I got this, I got that, and this expense is coming up, and this is coming up, and it's just so stressful,
Hmm.
and I would have panic attacks.
What kind of symptoms do you get for your anxiety?
With
How do you
with
know how do you know the difference between the anxiety and panic?
um it's kind of one and the same, but when I'm having an attack, I definitely know it because my breathing will change. It will be hard for me to breathe.
Okay, then
My
that's
heart rate will go
it.
up. Like I would
Mhm.
literally feel like I'm having a heart attack. I don't know if
Okay, that's
I don't know what it feels like to
yeah,
have a heart attack, but you just kind of feel some chest pain, some
I
chest
know what you
heaviness. And
mean.
so
Mhm.
that's when I know that I'm having a panic attack. And so when I do that, I try to do this exercise where you try to just focus on details in the room. You just look around and you'll say, "Oh, I'm going to look at that shade over there and look at the colors of those
Mhm.
shades." Okay? And then I'm going to look at that picture on the wall and pay attention to
Mhm.
the detail on the frame. And then I'm going to
Mhm.
pay attention to the color of the wall or the
Mhm.
design of that door. Just try to calm yourself down and put yourself in a space where you can think about everything
Mhm.
there is, but whatever the issue is that caused you to have that panic attack. So,
My therapist told me to tell myself, okay, we're getting the here and now, the here and now. Remind yourself of the here and now. So that's what I get. I get panic attacks. I start. It's like I can't breathe. It's hard to breathe. And see, I'm a crybaby. I sometimes cry. You
mhm,
know, not all the time, but sometimes I do. But then there's times where I can't breathe, and it feels like I'm about to just just faint, like just fall out. Like I can't catch my breath. You know what I'm saying?
mhm,
That's how I get. I get flushed. I get like that, and it's scary because sometimes you don't know when it can come on.
Yeah, it can
It
come
just
out of
happens.
nowhere. It can come for no reason. I know
Yeah.
that in the past I've been in a car accident too. And so I also get panic attacks, not just for financial reasons or scares or whatever, but because I was previously in a car accident and other traumas in my life, certain triggers will cause a panic attack. I know when I'm driving, sometimes certain things will happen and I will just get scared while I'm driving and have a panic attack
Mhm,
because I was in a car
mhm,
accident. So, you know,
mhm,
it's certain things that trigger it for sure. It could be things that can remind you of certain traumas that you've been through in your life,
mhm,
and so you just have to like work with your therapist. Sometimes you even have to go on medication for it. There was a point when I was taking medication for anxiety because it actually calmed me down. Like I felt good. Like it's a good calming effect that
mhm,
those pills gave me. And so I took those pills,
mhm,
but I'm happy to say at this point in my life, I don't have any more panic attacks. But I did have
mhm,
them a lot in the past, and I was able to work through that situation. I haven't had any for I don't know how long, you know. And but the medication helps. I know some people smoke marijuana for dealing
mhm,
with anxiety. I don't knock anybody who chooses to, you know, to deal with their anxiety with marijuana, or if they just decide to go to the doctor and get medication. I hear so many people get judged because they either decide to get medicated or they decide to go without medication. Like that's up to you. That's your choice, you know?
mhm,
And for me, like I've tried medication for depression and that medication didn't
mhm,
work. So that was my decision to stop taking the medication. Am I wrong for stopping it?
mhm,
No, I don't think so. Because if
mm,
something doesn't
no,
work for you, I'm not going to continue to put something in my body. I'm not going to be a lab rat. And I'm not going to put something that's not making the changes that I want to see. And so I just continue to do my therapy. I do my prayers. I
mhm,
haven't been able to go to church
mhm,
because, quarantine and situation.
mhm,
So I pray at
mhm,
home. I have a lot of devotional books. I read the Bible.
mhm,
I will call someone up that I really trust and care about and talk to them. I
mhm,
call my mother. I call my family members, friends,
mhm,
someone close that you can confide in if you really can't get to your therapist. To just talk
mhm.
about your issues because sometimes it helps to talk about
Absolutely,
getting
because
things out
you
and
feel
just
so
figuring
much
it out.
better when you let it out. When you talk and you let it out, you feel so much better. You feel like a weight has been lifted. Because I'm a stuffer. Okay, I stuff things. I keep things inside. Okay, and I did a video about stuffing, and that is not good because it's like a pressure cooker. You know how
Mhm.
the pressure cooker, and then right when it gets to that point, and you click that little nozzle, and it just all the steam just bursts out.
Oh,
Well,
yeah.
that's what happens when you stuff things. When you stuff things inside, and then it just takes one little minute thing, and you just go the hell off. You just
Mm,
flip your lid off of
girl,
one little something small. Right.
I
That's right.
I just
Okay.
went
So
through that last night. Girl,
I'm working
last
on not
night,
stuffing. What happened? Uh-huh.
I told you about the situation that was going on at work, okay? And I had
Uh-huh.
like a work bully, somebody that kind of abuses her power, and she's in a position of power sometimes when she's not working as the floor nurse. She's working as a charge nurse, and
Mhm.
she's one of those people that she has to boss people around and in order to feel superior, and
Right.
and so she had been what I call harassing me and bullying me at work. Pretty much ever since I started that job a little bit over a year ago. And so last night was just kind of the icing on the cake. Something happened. And I have been keeping a paper trail of this situation since it's been happening. Every time something happens, I document it electronically. I send emails out. I type up full reports so I could have it for my records. I have witnesses and things, but it's like every time this woman does something to me, she makes sure that other people are around because she wants to humiliate me in front of other people. So,
Mm-hmm.
last night she did something, and of course she had to make sure she had someone in front to watch it. And it was just like, when you already going through stuff, and it's quarantine right now, it's high stress level at the hospital. um I just lost it. Like, I I could feel
What did you?
myself shaking because I have been
What you say?
suffering from
What
this
did you
lady
say to
messing
her?
with me for so
What
long,
did you
and
say to
I
her?
didn't say anything.
Oh,
And so I stood up for myself because usually I ignore her. I will go walk away. But last night I stood up for myself. And
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. What did you say to her? How did you handle it?
so how I handled it was I told her, as she started yelling at me, I said, I'm not going to do this tonight with you. I said, I just want to punch in and go to my unit. Please leave me alone. Stop harassing me. And I told her, if you don't stop harassing me, I am going to file a harassment complaint. I am a former union representative. I know exactly how to do that. I will file a harassment complaint against you, and I've already been building up a case against you.
Oh yeah.
So
Uh-huh.
please leave me alone. And I said that in front
Mm-hmm.
of everybody because she was yelling at me. So, I kind of said it in a loud, stern voice, and I said it back. I said what I had to say back to her to let her know I'm not going to continue to let you do this to me. And you're not going to continue to abuse me in front of everybody else, because I've had so many witnesses during all of my encounters with her. So, you know what she did, Tracy?
Girl.
She called the house supervisor on me. So it was kind of like, okay, so this broad said she's gonna report me for harassment. I'm gonna call the house supervisor on her and beat her to the punch. So next thing
Girl.
you know, the house supervisor is coming up to me, and then we spoke in private, and I basically gave her the rundown of the situation. And she was like, you know what? I'm glad you told me this. We're gonna report this to your supervisor on the floor. When she gets here in the morning, I'm gonna send her an email. She said there's no reason why you should go to work and be harassed. If you feel like you're being harassed, 9 times out of 10, I believe you. This lady didn't know me from a can of paint, but she knew just by how upset I was in explaining the things that I had been through. And then I ultimately had to snap. I lost it. I started shaking, and I had to excuse myself from the floor, and I almost left
Okay.
work that night,
Right.
last night.
Look, you had to start thinking about, yeah, I got kids, I got bills, I got rent. Let
Yes.
me go ahead and remove myself, okay?
So
I'm telling you,
I had to breathe for a second, and I was going to leave work
girl.
last night, but then I said, you know what? Why I'm going to let this lady take me out of my character, for one thing? Why am I
Okay.
going to allow this lady to
Uh-huh.
make
Uh-huh.
me lose my bag for the night and my pay? Like,
Okay.
why should I have to
Okay.
go home for the way she's treating me or the way she decides that she wants to act and treat other people? Because right
Mm-hmm.
before she did that to me, she was mistreating somebody else. I happened to witness
Mm-hmm.
that and helped her, give the lady's name and everything so she could report her. So
Mm-hmm.
this lady talked to me crazy that night and talked to somebody else crazy. And so she already had
Mm-hmm.
two complaints. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And so I just said, you know what, this lady is miserable. This lady obviously has a problem with herself. She had, it's
Mm-hmm.
not a personal thing, and I'm not gonna let her stop my day.
Mm-hmm.
So
Right.
I'm gonna take my time to breathe, do my breathing exercises, and sit there and be like, please, Lord God, please
Okay.
help me from going off and stealing on a bitch, because
Okay.
that's what I feel like doing, is going
Okay.
off and stealing on a bitch. But I
Okay.
have to put
And
myself.
the reason why I'm laughing, I'm only laughing because, girl, and now you know I had that problem with someone doing that to me at work as well.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And it got to the point to where I had a damn panic attack at work. Okay. Um, and she was the type of person that would, I like that phrase that Tosh says. She always says, you throw the rock and hide your hand.
Mm-hmm.
That's what she used to do. She would do things and antagonize me.
Mm-hmm.
And then when someone speak up for themselves or calls her on her bull crap, she would start crying and play victim. She would start crying and say, she didn't mean no harm. All she was doing was just breathing, and or all she was doing was just yarning, or all she did, she would just make excuses for what she did to downplay what she did to make it look like I was just tripping. She made
Mm-hmm.
it look like what she was small and I'm tripping. She would downplay the situation. She would flip the whole narrative and make it seem like she's the victim.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't do anything. But behind the scenes, she would say and do things. She would say stuff loud enough for me to hear, low enough for no one else to hear. And then it got so bad till she started doing things in front of people, in front of her friends, in her front of, and people at work, they say stuff like, I didn't see it. I didn't hear it. They act like they didn't see it. They didn't hear it. They're oblivious to it. And so I got bullied so bad at work. I told you that situation until it got to the point to where I had to do something about it.
Oh
I
yeah.
had to stand up for myself. But she was the type that would flip it and make it seem like someone was bothering her, and that downplaying it and made it look like I was, bothered. I was tripping. I was being um what's that word? I'm just being overly sensitive and
Mm-hmm.
downplaying the things that she would do, and she would talk to me any old kind of way like I had a tail. She would talk to me like I had a tail. You know what I'm
Mm.
saying? She
Girl,
would
this
talk to
this
me
lady
any
talked
old
to me
kind of
like I
way.
was her daughter. Like I'm like, damn, like
Yeah,
my own mama don't even talk to me like that, lady.
yeah.
Like I'm not gonna
What I
keep
mean
dealing with
by
this
tail,
disrespect.
a tail like a dog has a tail, that kind of tail. Talk to me, like talk down to me.
Yes, yep. I'm
Talk.
dealing with the same
Yeah,
thing.
girl.
The same
Yeah.
thing. And she talks to everybody like that. And more, I think it's a race issue because this woman, she's from Colombia and she's
Oh.
high yellow, not high yellow, but she has really white pale skin. So I'm not trying to be
Mhm.
racist or anything for people who are
Oh, I
listening.
know you're not.
I am not a racist.
Uh-huh.
I do not hate white people. Okay, my mother's half white and half black, so let's not go there. Okay, just to put
Mhm.
that disclaimer out there. But this woman is, I believe she thinks she's white or she wants to be white. She has a complex because the majority of the people that she attacks are people of color.
Mhm.
She does not like
Oh.
black women. That is her issue. And she does not
Mhm.
like smart black women. Black women
Mhm.
that know what they're doing, do their job well. She has a problem with those people. And so she tends to pick on people that she sees that are stronger, that know how to do their job,
Mhm.
don't need to be told anything, and can just get in and do what they're
Mhm.
supposed to do and go home.
Mhm.
I think she's
Mhm.
intimidated by that. And for that reason, she kind of just
Mhm.
bullies people and messes with
Mhm.
people, you know, and it's
So
just
it's a,
disgusting.
she feels inferior, and so she tries to break you down. A lot of times, people that get this little bit of authority, they like to flex their wings when they get to work because that's the only place they have control over. They don't have control over their self at home. They don't have no control over their situation at home. So they come to work and it makes them feel powerful. It makes them
Mhm.
feel like something, and they want to flex their wings when they get to work, because at work they have a little bit of power. It's ridiculous. It boils down to them, just like you said, it's a personal thing.
And
And
I told my boss this morning because I was talking to her this morning about this lady, and she was like, "Well, what do you think that we can do about it? Like, should we schedule a sit down?" And I said, "You know what? You guys have you should have been scheduled a sit down or a mediation a long time ago. I think at this point, it's this relationship is beyond repairable." You know what I'm saying? Like it was my breaking point yesterday dealing with that woman. It's like I feel like she has a character flaw, or she's just always going to be that way. Some people just don't know how to talk to people. They're not people's people, if you get what I'm saying. Like
They're not a people person.
yeah, like she doesn't know
They're
how
not a
to
people
address
person.
people without talking to them like a dog, or talking to them like anything but a human.
Mhm,
She has no respect
mhm.
for people. And I believe that that's how she carries herself outside of the hospital as well. I don't think that it's just, my boss tried to say, oh, it's a cultural thing. And I said, you know what?
Mhm.
If it's a cultural thing, then I'm going to let you know that in the African American culture, when we feel disrespected, we tend to lash out. We tend to curse a motherfucker out. Like that's what we're strong people. So African American people, we will put you in
Look
your
who
place
we
real
got
quick.
in our.
But
Look who
I
we got
know
in
that
the
I'm in a
chat,
professional
girl.
setting and I can't curse her out. So I'm not going to do that. So you can't put that whole cultural issue and make that an issue for her, or an excuse for the way she's treating people, because you should know when you're in a professional place like a hospital or any sort of professional environment, when you're working with other people, that there's ways that you talk to people. It's not what you say, but sometimes it's how you
How you
say
say
it.
it. Look who we got in the chat. Unspoken purpose.
Unspoken purpose. What's up, girl? She said, I'm so
You
glad
want
I
to come
caught
on the
y'all
panel?
live.
Look, I'm all happy.
Right.
Look,
Come join the
I'm trying
panel,
to.
Unspoken. Come join the panel. We're talking about depression and
Yeah.
anxiety. We talked a little bit about anxiety, and I was bringing up something that happened to me at work last night, and it was kind of like how when you're dealing with issues and you're holding things in. And with me, I had been dealing with somebody who had been messing with me at work for some time, and I kind of
Mhm,
kept it in, really didn't talk about it besides reporting it, by email and stuff, and talking to my boss a couple of times. I really just harbored a lot of anger until it kind of just, my pressure cooker just exploded last night,
mhm,
because I don't talk about this issue very much. So you just kind of lose it. You know what I'm saying?
mhm. I told you it's just like it's a pressure cooker. Cause I'm a stuffer too. I stuff things in, and when you stuff things in, it just takes one thing to be the final straw, and you just blow up, just like a pressure cooker. And so that's why I said that I'm working on not being a stuffer, because it's not good. It's not healthy to stuff things in. It's not healthy.
No, because the way you might react, it might be the wrong way. You might just curse somebody out, and you might not want to be, at your job cursing somebody out because you've held so much in. So it's
Mhm.
best to be able to talk about it, talk about it with somebody, talk about it with a friend, somebody that you
Oh, no
trust.
problem, Unspoken. No problem. She says my kids are too loud to get on anyone's panel right now, but I will see if I can find a quiet place. Okay, we'll be here.
Yeah, my kids
But
are
yeah,
loud
go
right
ahead. What
now.
you saying?
We're barbecuing shish kebabs tonight. So they're in a party mode downstairs. They're really loud. I'm surprised you can't hear them right now.
Mhm.
But
Mm-mm. But
yeah,
yeah,
like
I
you just really have to
so
find
nothing happened. So
a
what do you think the outcome is gonna be with you and the supervisor
or the charge nurse lady that's been messing with me.
or the
Um,
charge nurse? Yeah.
I think ultimately, because this lady gets complaints from other people as well, not just me, because I think last night the lab lady had to report her. She had a run-in with her that I actually had to witness, and I told her that I would be a witness if they wanted to contact me about it. But she gets so many complaints from patients' family members, other coworkers that complain that she talks to them, just horribly. And I feel like justice is going to prevail in this situation. Like, I pray on it all the time. I never pray for anybody to lose their job, but I feel like, she's going to get some type of discipline action for what she's doing. I would hope that we would be able to schedule a sit down and talk one day, and I could just get down to the bottom of why it is that she continues to pick on me. Is there
Let me
something that
ask
I
you a
have ever
question.
done to her? Because
Mhm.
I have never been disrespectful to this woman, even when she disrespected me up until last night. And I don't even think I was
Mhm,
disrespectful last night. I was just keeping it real. Like, if you keep messing with me, I'm
mhm,
going to file a
mhm.
harassment complaint. I
Let me
wasn't
ask
being
you a question.
disrespectful, but
You think that, huh? Let me
oh
ask you
yeah,
a
go
question.
ahead.
Do you
Yep.
think that bulliness, when people bully, because I did a video on this,
Mhm.
and I already said that when people bully, it's because they have some things going on with themselves, and it makes them feel big to put someone else down. It makes them feel inferior when they bring somebody down, hurt somebody else. But do you think that they have may been bullied themselves, or suffer from something in their childhood that makes them bully? Like, I know we're not specialists, we're not doctors or therapists, but just what is your opinion on a bully?
I totally believe in this situation, and I think in a lot of bully situations, they have been in a place where they were teased at some point in their life. They were fucked with at some point in their life. They were made fun of. They were bullied. So whenever they get into a position of power as an adult, and this can
Mhm.
go for, a charge nurse, a doctor. We hear a lot about
It's
how
all
the doctors
your
treat people
nurse.
in the hospital. They could have been bullied,
Mhm.
and then when they become doctors, when they become, high position in life, police officers,
Like my supervisor. Mhm. Mhm.
these police officers out here fucking, committing police brutality and
I was
killing these
gonna
people
say
for no
that.
damn reason.
Mhm.
They are
I was
acting
gonna
out
say that.
because they have been fucked with and bullied as a
Mhm.
child, and they didn't feel like they were strong enough to stand up on their own
Mhm.
until they were able to grow up
Mhm.
and get a position of authority.
Mhm.
And
Exactly.
And
Exactly.
so they use their position to abuse other people, to bully other people. That's the bottom line. I believe it started somewhere when they were younger. For sure, somebody was messing with them, and they
That's what
did
I
not
think.
have the balls to stand up, and they got
Mhm.
ran over, they
Mhm.
got bullied, they got messed up so
Mhm.
much to the point where as an adult,
Mhm.
they set out to hurt other people because they
Mhm.
were hurt and they couldn't do anything about it. They didn't receive the help or the support that they needed. And so
Mhm.
they seek to destroy other people and put people in that miserable place that they were in. And they probably still are. They probably still are in that
Mhm.
place.
Mhm.
And it makes them
And
feel
that's what I
better to
think.
see
A
somebody
lot of these
suffer.
police officers, a lot of these police officers, I really believe that the ones that are doing what they're doing, they're bully police officers, and they suffer from whatever that happened to them in their past, and that little badge is, they feel like they have the right. It gives them that power. They feel like they're powerful. Um,
Hmm.
and I bet you they are broken as a person. I know they are. They're broken. Something happened to them, and it's making them, and that power. Some people love power. It makes them feel like something when they have a little bit of power. And a lot of these supervisors at these jobs, I'm here to tell you, especially if they have issues going on at home and they don't have no control of their life at home, they come to work where they have the power because they're your supervisor, or they're your charge nurse, or something, and they have that power, and it makes them feel like something. It makes them feel like something. And it's sad. It is
Yep,
really sad.
I call it an abuse of powers because I should not have to go to work and feel like I'm walking on eggshells and feel like I'm being watched or harassed. I should never have that feeling. I should be able to enjoy coming to work every day doing something that I love
Mhm.
to do. But sometimes the people that you work around will make it a
Mhm.
place that you don't enjoy to come to. And it's just like here on this YouTube platform, when people do things and say things that will discourage you for coming onto this platform because they don't make it in an enjoyable place. The bullying, it doesn't make it in an enjoyable place. So, a lot of times I don't even want to come on here. Um,
Mhm.
But I feel comfortable enough on your platform. I feel safe here. Like I feel safe. Like I'm not going to be attacked. I'm not going to be judged.
Thank
And
thank you very much.
you're probably the
Thank you
only
very much.
platform like I feel like I can actually come up on the StreamYard and talk and let my
Mhm.
hair down and be myself without
Mhm.
feeling like I'm going to be attacked. I mean, they're probably in the bushes
Mhm.
listening right now. Hello, hi haters. Um, I really don't care.
Mhm.
You can judge me. You can say what you want at this point because um, during my time away from my platform, it's been a long time where I have been able to sit and just reflect and just become
Mhm.
a stronger person. So, um,
Mhm.
their words, their opinions, their thoughts about me, it does not matter. It doesn't
No
matter to me at
one,
this point anymore.
not just here, yeah, not just YouTube, but nowhere, no
Nowhere.
one.
Yep. Nowhere.
Yeah.
And just like at work, like I don't care that that lady thinks she must see something in me, that she thinks that I'm just this bullseye target where she thinks I'm some punk bitch or something that she can come and abuse and attack because she knows that I don't want to lose my job, so I'm not gonna curse her out like one of the other guys did. And he Rodney is a sweet
Mhm.
guy. He's a gay guy, but um
Mhm.
he used to work with us, and this particular charge nurse had messed with him one night, and he went clean off. I mean, cursed her out, called her every damn name under the sun, and he ended up losing his job. And she
See.
knows that I'm not going to get to that point because I have kids that I have to take care of. I'm not, but I feel like she tries to provoke me to get me to that
Mhm.
place because she
Mhm.
wants me to get out of my character. She wants to see me
Well,
lose my job. That would be the ultimate
exactly. Right.
icing on the cake for her.
But you can't let that happen. You can't give them what you want. And that's anywhere in life. We can't give them what they want. You know, we just can't. And that's a shame where you can't go to work. Who I don't see, I don't like conflict. I don't like to work in a hostile environment. I don't like conflict, and I try to avoid it at all costs. And that's a shame to love your job and love the field you're in, and loving what you do, and you can't even go to work and do your job and do it effectively because you got this other stuff going on. And then they don't understand it's impacting your patients as well. What she's doing is not only affecting you, but it has an impact on your patients.
That's right,
If you can't
because
get
this whole incident, like last night, it made me late to my unit. Getting the things
right.
done that I should have gotten done at the start of my shift. So she affected not only me, but she wasn't thinking about the patients. She wasn't thinking about the other
Exactly.
coworkers that were disturbed by
Coworkers.
what she was doing. I mean,
Exactly.
just
Exactly.
totally
It's a
selfish.
domino effect.
But I see
It's a
Unspoken
domino
Purpose commented here. She said, my godson is 7 years old and he is in therapy due to his fear of the police. Oh my
Yeah, I
gosh.
had that. Uh-huh. And so for him to be 7 years old, like, and he already sees what the police is doing, that there's something wrong. These police officers are doing something wrong. If a 7-year old knows and feels something wrong,
That's
that's
crazy.
bad.
That's bad. We are
Yeah.
living in a very bad time and space right now. And police officers are supposed to serve and protect our communities. They're supposed to be looked at as the heroes of the community, not somebody that we should be fearing. Like
Mhm.
when and where did we get to this place? But I mean, police brutality has been going on for a long time, a very long
Long,
time.
long.
But
Uh-huh.
nowadays it's just getting worse. It's just like
Mm.
killing black people or lynching black people is the new norm because they know that
Yeah.
they can get away with it.
Mhm.
They don't even have to cover it up now. I mean, people are
I know.
recording these things happening with their cell
I
phones.
know. It's all in the open. Oh my God, can you imagine that? I mean, it's all in the open like that. The situation that just happened with the two Caucasian. I think he was a retired
Police
police
officer.
officer,
Hmm.
detective. Him and his son shot the young guy. What
That
was
was
his name?
jogging.
Aubrey? Yeah, what's his name? Aubrey or something like that.
Uh-huh.
I think his name was Aubrey. I'm not for sure. He was jogging or walking somewhere, and he happened to be looking at a vacant home that was being built or something, and then he left out something. I have to watch it again. But he was, and then they shot him.
Just shot them in cold blood with a shotgun. Like they was hunting. Like it was hunting season for them.
See,
That's
I
just
just
sad.
can't.
I can't.
I just can't. And so you got to talk to your sons. You got a 15-year-old son, right?
Yep, I have a 15-year-old son, and he definitely knows that, this is
Uh-huh.
something that he may have to face at some point in his life. He may be stopped by the police. He may be pulled over by the police. He may be
Mhm.
walking down the street and be stopped by somebody. And I just, teach him that he has to remain calm. Don't try to curse them out. Don't try to fight. You
Mhm.
know, I'm not trying to say that Aubrey lost his life because he fought, because they was probably going to get him either way it went. They had a target, and it seemed like they wanted to kill him. So whether or not he was
Mhm.
going to fight back, he was probably going to lose his life anyway that day. But
Mhm.
I think there's a lot of ways where you could hopefully try to prevent becoming a victim to police
Mhm.
brutality. I don't know if you heard about Philando Castro. He lives here
Mhm.
in
It
Minnesota,
doesn't
and
ring
he
a
was
bell.
gunned down. He was gunned down. He was in his car. He was pulled over for an alleged, broken brake light or something like that, or turn signal.
Mhm. Okay.
And he didn't do anything. He had his hands in the air, and he let the police officer know that he had a registered gun in the car, but he didn't have his hand on the gun or anything. And the police came over and shot him down. You know what I'm saying? Gunned him down.
Oh
And
wow.
that's a prime example where you could be pulled over, you could be totally cooperative with the police, you could be calm, you could not be arguing with them or being giving them any sass or anything or being defensive, and they can still take your life.
Mhm.
But I mean, if you're going to choose to be combative versus being calm,
Mhm.
I would teach my son just to be calm, just to remain calm. Don't go off on the person, don't, because that might spark something in them and they might just get to shooting at you. It's sad because you really don't know what to do. Like I don't know what to tell my son. Like, oh yeah, fight someone if they're coming after you, but how do you fight a gun if you don't have a gun yourself? It's
Oh,
just
yeah, or a police officer, and then a lot of times that's why they saying that they're gonna make them wear the
the
camera
body
on them. They
cameras.
have to, uh-huh.
Hmm.
But it's not even out here like that in California. But it's just sad. It's just sad, and we just don't know. And I'm glad I don't have any sons, But hell, things are happening to women. What's that one lady's name that she got pulled over for? Was it Sandra? She
Sandra
got pulled
Bland.
over for.
Sandra Bland.
See,
Yeah, she's from
see,
Chicago too. She was in
see,
what, Texas when that happened though, I think.
and she got pulled over. I guess a traffic stop,
Hmm. And
and what
that
she ended up.
that officer beat her up, and they brought her to the prison, and allegedly they say that she committed suicide, but I don't believe that she
Mm,
committed suicide. I think they beat that woman to death. I believe that
mm-hmm,
she came and arrived to that prison dead, but you know, I
mm,
believe in a lot of different conspiracy theories. I'm a huge thinker,
uh-huh.
and so a
Me
lot of
too.
people say that she was alive when she got there. I beg to
Mm-hmm,
differ. I believe she was dead. And it's
mm-hmm.
really disgusting that they would set her up to do a mug shot knowing that she was dead. But like you could see in her mug shot, there was no life left in her eyes. There was no life in her
That's what I was
eyes
thinking.
because
Right.
that officer that pulled her over beat her up so bad. Oh,
See, That's some that she wasn't. I don't care if you big or small. I'm not trying to say, that she, size, because a woman cannot hold herself up to a man, but she was a smaller built woman too, though. You know what I
Yeah, she
mean?
was.
She was
And
she
Sandra
it
wasn't playing
wouldn't
when
have
that
suffered.
officer pulled her over. She was, she was a little, she was giving it to him a little bit. She was mouthy at him, and I'm
And
not
she was
trying to
trying to
say
figure out what the hell. I mean, she was girl asking him questions like,
like this isn't right.
you know,
What you're doing is not right, and she
yeah.
was basically standing up for herself. And I feel like honestly, because she
Mhm.
kind of knew a little bit of the law and knew what he was doing was wrong,
Mhm.
it kind of triggered
Uh-huh.
him to do what he did. And
Mhm.
it's just not right. It's not right either way it goes. It's not right for
Mhm.
him to have done what he did and to take a whole life because someone stood up for themselves and questioned
And
it.
then they swept it under the carpet. They said she died in there. So now nobody's taking responsibility for what happened. It's
Nope,
just
just another sad black statistic now
another
that's
dead
gone.
sister. Yeah, another dead
And
sister.
a white another white man that gets to walk away after committing murder.
Yeah, and that's just and didn't what's his name? Zimmerman. He didn't even get convicted for what he did.
Yeah, he called himself trying to be
Well,
a vigilante in the neighborhood.
it wasn't a big conviction, put it like that. It wasn't a big one.
No, he
To me, he
basically got
got
away with
away
that.
with
But
it.
I
That's what
guess they're
I'm
trying to
saying.
say that the two guys that recently killed Aubrey was kind of in the same situation as Andrew Zimmerman. They thought that he was in the neighborhood trying to burglarize or,
Mhm.
break into somebody's
Okay, even
house,
if
and then
he
they
was,
called
oh,
themselves
let's
trying
say he
to get
was.
justice. But my thing is, if you see somebody a suspect in the neighborhood that looks suspect or looks like he's doing it,
Right,
why not get on your phone and call the police? Especially if you used to be law enforcement, why
right,
go up to the person and try to
right,
confront them and you don't know if this person is
right,
armed or really dangerous yourself? What if they turn around and kill you?
right.
Why not get on the phone and call the
And from
police if you really felt like that person
and
was a
from
threat?
what the tape showed, he was just looking out of curiosity at the place, But even so, even if he was trying to do something, you didn't have to kill him. You could have held
Right.
him
You
down.
didn't
One
have to
held
kill
him
them.
down. The other called the police. Right.
Exactly.
It's just ridiculous. Another lost man. I mean, dead man. It's just so we have to talk to our children. Even we have to talk to them. And stuff. And a lot of times, like I said, these people go to work. They be having issues at home. They come to work, and because they got a little bit of authority, they flex their wings at work. Their power. They try to flex it when they get to work, and because that's where they have a little bit of control, you know. And it's just ridiculous. It's sad. It's ridiculous, and that's why I say when people back on the depression thing, when people make comments about a person that is going through something, they forget they're going through something. They've been through something. We all are broken in some kind of way as people. We
Yep. And
all got a book, a story to tell. We all got a story to tell.
And
No one
if
has
you haven't
lived
gone
a
through
perfect
something,
life.
your mama went through something, your auntie went through something, your friend went through something, your cousin has gone through something. So like you can't put people down for just living this thing called life. We all go through things, and not everything about life is going to be peaches and cream. Not everything about
And
life
we
is
all
going to
have
be
made bad choices.
happiness. We all go through
Exactly. We
sad
all have made bad
situations. We
choices.
suffer loss.
Mhm.
We suffer a lot of things.
Read Unspoken's comment.
So Unspoken Purpose says, it's sad that we have to fear the police. If something happens to me or my family, I don't even think about calling the police. You are looking for protection and you can end up dead. That's so true. That is so true.
Exactly.
That's so true. I
It's just
oftentimes
it's
don't
just
even call
sad.
the police for that reason too. I'm like, whatever it is that I'm going through, I'm gonna try to solve this on my own unless it's something real serious. And I do have to make
Mhm.
that call. But I mean, sometimes you think about it like,
Mhm.
damn, if I call the police over here, are they gonna try to kill me, or are they trying to, or are
Right.
they trying to kill someone that I love over here? Like, and we
It's
shouldn't
just
have to,
it's ridiculous.
yeah, we shouldn't have to fear that. Um, Losing our life to making a police call, and these people are supposed to be serving and protecting us.
Right. Everyone across the board. Not this one because of that color and that one because everyone.
Everyone across the
Shoot. It's
board, like
just
when you become a police officer, you are sworn in to serve and protect, not to serve and to kill.
hmm.
And that's
And
not
that's
even a
not what
service
we're
when
getting.
you're sitting out there killing people for no damn reason because of their skin color.
Mm. Shoot. Nowadays we afraid of the police before we are the dope dealer. Shit.
Okay.
Before you be afraid to go outside to get mugged. I'm not even afraid to get mugged now. I'm afraid of the police. It's just sad. It's
Yeah,
just sad.
it's
And
crazy.
I
Like,
don't
I automatically tense up and I get angry every time I have to encounter a police officer or even a security guard. Like, just
Mhm.
seeing a man in uniform, or a man in a police uniform, or even a security guard. Like I said, I just feel some type of way, and I can't help the way I feel
Shake
because
it.
it's been so much shit going on, especially here in Minnesota. It's crazy.
Mhm.
Philandro, and then it was somebody else. It was another kid that was shot down. I forgot. I think it was Jaquan Clark or something like that. That was his name. He was gunned down here in Minnesota. Every time I turn around, and it was another man. I can't figure out what his name was, but this past summer, he was being chased by the police, and he got out the
Mhm.
car, and they just sprayed him up with bullets. Okay, sprayed this man up with
Really?
bullets. He was I think he was suicidal too. It turns out, before he died, I was reading some of his Facebook posts and everything, and this man was
Mhm.
crying out for help. He was really depressed and he was suicidal. And that could have been the very reason why he was on the road being chased by the police. Like, he probably could have been drinking that night or anything, but it was just like a cry for help. And instead of tasing this man when he
Mhm.
got out the car, they shot him several times.
Oh wow. And you see what I say about depression?
And he
And
was
when
going through
people
something.
laugh
He
and
was
tease,
depressed to the point of
and
being
that's what I'm saying. And
suicidal.
that's what I'm saying. When people bully you or pick on you, I don't mean to keep using that word loosely, but I use that as one big sum up. When people tease you or bully you, mess with you, um, you don't know if you're going to be that person's last straw. What if that person is contemplating suicide or something? What
Hmm.
if that person is contemplating something, you know, and they end up hurting themselves? I don't want to be the cause. I don't want to hurt anyone. I don't want to be the cause of someone making that horrible decision. You
Hell, I
know,
don't even want to
people
be
don't
the cause of somebody's pain or depression. Like, I don't
exactly.
want to contribute to that
People don't
either.
know, and people don't understand when a person you don't know what a person is going through. You sitting up there laughing at them and talking about them and saying this and saying that. You don't know what a person is going through. You don't know and a lot of times the people that are doing that, they're probably depressed and hurt, but they're deflecting their hurt and pain on someone else because they don't want to deal with what they're dealing with or what they need to deal with. So they deflect their stuff onto someone else. And they rather hurt someone else. They rather, um, put somebody else down to make themselves feel better. It's just a vicious cycle, and it's sad. Greedy sofa.
Hey, Sofa Time Talk with Kels. We're just talking about depression because it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and we want people to just kind of be aware of the many different issues that we can have in the membrane, up
Mm-hmm.
in the brain. You know, sometimes we go insane in the membrane. No, I'm just playing. But no,
And we do.
depression. I mean, it's a very common issue. We all have faced it at some point in our
It's so
lives.
taboo. A lot of people don't want to talk about it. It's hard for some people to open up and discuss it.
So,
It's
what
it's
are some
it's
things that you guys have done, whoever's listening, who has ever gone through a period of depression, where whether it's been an ongoing issue for you or whether it was something like more acute that maybe went on for a couple of weeks and you got out of it? What have been some things that you have done that made you feel a little bit better?
for me. I like to I pray. That's the one thing I do, and I like to do affirmations. I like to read. Oh, we got someone coming on. Oh, okay, come on.
Hey,
Hey,
girl.
Sofa.
I love the makeup. It's popping, girl. And the
Thank
braids.
you,
Hey, the
thank you,
lashes too, boo.
ladies. Thank you.
We're
Yes.
talking about depression today.
Okay. Okay. Awesome. That's
Uh-huh.
beautiful. Hold on. Let me just make sure I can read the comments.
Okay, welcome in. Did you want to
Thank you,
chime
lady.
in? Are you suffer from depression?
Yes, absolutely. Especially in the African American community. Depression, it's so taboo for us to speak about in our community because you're looked at as being weak or less than if you try to seek therapy or if you are trying to vent your concerns to someone. And I know myself as being a mom, that postpartum depression is also a real thing that us as women have a hard time dealing with. Just feelings of being overwhelmed when there's a new baby and you're getting adjusted to life in a new type of way. And, depending on how circumstances are with the man that's involved, that plays a big part into depression. And it's something that we really need to speak about in the Black community. I'm so glad that you ladies are speaking on it. This is wonderful. And yeah, coping mechanisms. I can't think of any off the top of my head, but I know depression, when I was depressed, binge eating was my thing. I wasn't into
Hmm.
drinking, I wasn't into drugs, but
Yeah.
eating was one of my drugs. And
Yes.
a lot of people, kind of say, well, it's just food, but it's like food has addictive things in it like a drug.
Exactly. And
And you,
food can make you obese and overweight, and that can cause health issues. So it's not really okay to
no,
suppress your feelings with food
no.
unless you're 99 pounds. Okay.
It,
Then you can
it,
stand to put on some weight.
exactly, exactly. So
Exactly.
that's another thing, because people don't usually think about. They think when people are depressed, they're alcoholics or they're drug addicts and things like that. But it's like, no, people will be depressed and sit there and eat a tub of ice cream, eat a bunch of cookies, just various things like that. So, um, yeah, I'm glad you guys are speaking on this because I mean, I just I love you guys when you do this panel thing. It's amazing, but people definitely need to hear about depression, especially in the African American community. So
Thank
Have you
you.
um have you seen a therapist? Do you believe in counseling?
I do.
Hmm.
Okay. I went through a deep, deep depression after I had my last child, and me and his dad was just like worse than cats and dogs. And I tried going to a therapist. And for some reason, I don't know if it because it was a white man. I don't want to, discriminate towards anybody, but I didn't feel like he could connect with me. I didn't feel like he was
Uh-huh.
understanding where I was coming from.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
in that sense, I just kind of was like, man, therapy don't really work. This white man couldn't understand me. He didn't know what I was going through, you
Then you
know?
find another one.
Right.
You keep
No, at
searching
that
till you find. Yeah.
exactly. That's the thing. You have to keep searching until you find another. Unfortunately, I did not. And I just was like, I got this on my own. I got this on my own. And I just kind of dug a deeper hole for myself because it was like I was really even paying attention to the world around me because I was so caught up in my own thoughts and feelings and thinking, I have nobody to help me. I don't know what to do. Basically, I turned to exercise.
Mm-hmm.
Exercise helped me a lot with my depression because it was that routine of getting up and just sweating and all those endorphins and all those different things that are released when you are active like that and exercising. It really helps me a lot overcome my depression. And then, you know, when you look good, you eat right, you feel good.
Mm-hmm.
So that was one way I had helped myself spiral out of that depression. Now, I'm not knocking talking to therapists. Therapists are amazing people to speak with. You just have to make sure you find the one that's right for you and don't give up until you do. So,
Yep,
Mm-hmm.
that's correct. I totally believe in trying to find the right person. Remember when I spoke earlier about how I was speaking to one lady and I felt like I was just revealing too much and I ended up not going back. When I finally
Mm-hmm.
did go back, they kind of asked me who I wanted to see. And they paired me with somebody around, somebody closer to my age,
mhm,
Mm-hmm.
somebody of my cultural background and everything, somebody that could relate to my issues,
right.
so that I could feel more comfortable. So I noticed that maybe they didn't do it years ago when I first tried to go to therapy, but they asked me questions and they tried to pair me up with somebody that was closer to my age that could relate to the things that I'm going through at this stage in my life, and somebody of my cultural background. So I lucked up to have a young lady as a therapist. So we could talk about things, and she can relate to me. And she's also an African
Mm-hmm.
American woman. So she can relate to not only things that I'm going through as a woman, but as a Black woman. So
Mm-hmm.
I think that's important. And if you can find that and you can actually get that, latch on
I
and,
want to
and, and, and
piggyback.
take it. Or if you don't find that,
Mm-hmm.
continue to look until you find the therapist that's going to match, that's you're going to mesh with, is what I'm trying to say.
And I want to piggyback on what Sofa said because I remember my first time that I seen a therapist or a counselor or whatever. And ethnicity sometimes does matter because we, I can't say we, I got to find the right way to say it because I'm not trying to be, I'm not trying to say race. We do think different, you know. And so when you feel like they can't connect with you, when you feel like they don't understand you, that happened to me too. And I was talking to, but it was a woman though, it was a female, and I didn't feel like she understood my thought process because their thought process is a little different, and I was very frustrated. I mean, I was very frustrated, but I did find one, and I'm telling you, I am an advocate. That's the word I want to use. I'm an advocate for counseling. I'm an advocate for counseling. Who is that? Oh, I don't know who you are. Oh, you're depressed? Okay. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. We are talking about depression. Oh, she's muted. That's why I don't hear her. Lordy, Lordy.
I'm
Sophie, you
sorry.
still heard you heard what I said though, right? I was saying that I was in your same position. I was piggybacking off what you said earlier. I didn't want to interrupt you, but I was in
Oh,
your
yeah.
same position earlier. She'll
About
be back.
picking, okay, about picking a therapist that's
Uh-huh.
right for you.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I had heard that. That is very important. It's just like with anybody that's providing a service to you, you're not just gonna let anybody
Mm-hmm.
do your hair, you're not just gonna let anybody do your nails. You gotta have a certain type of
Mm-hmm.
chemistry with people, and
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
having that type of chemistry with a therapist is extremely important because you
Gemini, no, I
are.
got. Hold on a minute. Gemini is one of my mods. Can you get that out of there, Gemini? The is the pussy word.
Yeah, I had to go in out of the chat, you guys. I'm sorry, but I had to go delete that comment. But
Yeah.
we're not going to pay
Okay,
any of the haters any attention here. We're going to continue to talk, but I had to go out and delete a comment.
got you.
Okay, Gemini's on it.
All right, thanks.
Oh no, I wasn't saying that towards you, Gemini. I was just saying when you're on a public platform, you just have to be very conscious of how you say words because um oh there you go. How you say
Mhm.
how you put things. Because people, you have to be careful.
Right.
But Gemini's on it. He's still in here, Gemini. Go ahead and block that person, Gemini.
Yes, look at this forehead. It's big like a Nubian princess.
Block
Yes,
that
it
person,
is.
please,
Okay.
Gemini.
Yeah. Block them. They looking for attention right now. We not finna give them that attention that they seeking.
Of
Gemini.
course not.
Gemini's on it. Gemini's on it.
Okay.
That's sad that we can't even have a serious discussion without people coming in. But you know what?
No,
That,
I
that
got
ain't
controls.
y'all ain't stopping nothing over here.
nothing.
Okay, now
With
he's
higher
now that he's
levels,
calling me
higher
he's
devils. Yeah.
saying cunt. Block that person is calling us a cunt.
I think
Gemini.
she did already.
Yeah, we probably can still see the comments, but
Oh, I
you-
see. Okay.
yeah.
Mhm.
But yeah, girl. But yeah, you have to so I didn't feel like that she was really connecting with me. So you're right. You even age. I had one that I was seeing that was younger than me, and I didn't feel like she had as much as life experience than me. So that
Hmm.
kind of made me feel a way too. I'm like, you're only a few years older than my daughter. I really cannot be talking to you. But
Okay.
we really shouldn't do that because you never know what advice or information somebody can give you. But yeah, I had one that I didn't feel like it had enough life experience either.
Hmm. Yeah, so I feel like age and is important, and not to say that a young person would be able to help you, but
Hmm.
we all go through certain things at certain points in our lives, and I just feel like somebody that's around your age would be able to relate. Like, let's say I'm going through menopause and I'm having some issues that have
Hmm.
to do with menopause. It might be good to
Hmm.
be matched up with a therapist that who has gone through menopause and can relate to
Hmm.
my situation and can speak to me about
Hmm.
those issues.
Hmm. Especially since you had kids before. You know what I mean?
Mhm. Mhm. Or a
So
therapist that has
it re-
kids, you know what I'm saying, who was giving birth, who knows about postpartum depression. Because I also had went through that a couple of times with a couple of my kids, went through the blues, baby blues.
hmm.
Your
Hmm.
body is so much out of shape and you're just going through it.
Hmm.
You feel like you done lost control of
Hormones is off.
everything. Hormones is
Yeah, the
raging.
hormones is off. Hmm.
Mhm. I would have periods where I would just cry sometimes, just sit and cry for no reason at all, just cry. And sometimes if
Yeah.
someone would go in the refrigerator and eat my ice cream, and I would cry because someone ate my ice
Girl.
cream.
Girl.
Okay, and that's when you know it's serious when you crying over some damn food. Okay.
Exactly. Exactly. I understand.
Mhm.
I understand.
Mhm. Yeah, that postpartum depression ain't no joke.
It ain't.
It ain't no
It ain't.
girl.
I've had post abuse depression too. I've been in a situation where, I was beaten before by my baby daddy, and the shock of it all and the state of mind I was in after that happened just spiraled me into the deepest, darkest place. you can imagine. I mean, I didn't eat. I was like shedding pounds. I was in the bed crying because he had beat me so bad. I was kind of bedridden for a little bit until I healed.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in the bed just moping and sad and crying every day and not eating, to the point where my mom, was caring for my kid at the time and was just like, look, you got to get yourself together for your kid. Like, you got to snap out of that, and it was just so hard to come out of. And the funny part about it is, I was more depressed at his mom's reaction to what he had done to me. That had deepened my
Mm-hmm.
depression because
Oh,
I didn't know she had felt that way about me.
mm-hmm.
And that had just spiraled it even
Turn your
more.
phone down.
Oh, I don't, my phone is on mute.
Okay, I hear an echo.
Can you hear me now?
Is it me?
Okay,
I
no, it's
don't hear.
better now.
Okay. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I know a lot of women don't speak about the depression that comes from abuse, or, being abused in a situation like that. But that depression literally, um, like molded me into a whole nother person. I was never the same after that because I had never been that deep in darkness before. And the
So
only
how
way
did you
out
get
of
out
it,
of it?
I got out of it by, I started going out and hanging out with my current or newest baby daddy. He kind of helped brought me out of that
Mm-hmm.
because we had reconnected, and during that time I was just so depressed. He was like, oh no, like, let's go out, let's go have drinks, let's go kick it. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get out this house. I'm gonna hang out with my homie because I ain't seen him in a while. And he helped me out of that space. So, I mean, they always say the best way to get over one is to get under another one. It didn't
Mm-hmm.
turn into that immediately, but he was a big help emotionally getting me out of that hole. So,
But so you didn't give yourself a chance to go through things alone, and you just went from one relationship to another,
well,
so to speak.
um,
You didn't give yourself time to grieve and go through the process of the last relationship. Is that what you're saying?
um, not really, because at that point in time, I didn't really jump into like relationship with the newest
Oh,
baby
okay.
daddy. We still was like really good friends or whatever. The baby didn't come to like years later after my darkness, but
Oh,
he
okay.
was the first person to help like bring me out of that. Because when a man abuses you as a woman, how I felt was, he don't love me. I'm not good enough. My self-worth was in the gutter. Like, and then here comes this
Mm-hmm.
narcissist walking into my life, telling me all these good things. You're beautiful. You don't have to go through that. And he's spending time with me and, just making me have a good time. It made me forget about the crazy and horrible things I had just experienced with the so-called man I was in love with. So it helped. It helped me a lot. So
Mm-hmm. So when you were in a
I
relationship with the new guy, did you get any triggers like at any point in that relationship? Did you get triggers that came from the previous relationship, or did you still like, even though you were out of the depression, sometimes go back into it at a point?
yeah, because I eventually left him and went back to my abuser. Because, like, you get in the moments where, the abuser is comfort. That's what that's who you've been with. And then you got kids with that person. So you tend to make excuses like, well, that's my baby daddy. This is our family. I know he loved me. It won't happen again. And so you just kind of like ditch the dude that like brought you out of that deep place, made you feel good about yourself, and took you out. And I kind of was in that cycle for a minute, for some years, with that ping ponging back and forth. And it's all because I didn't understand my own self worth. And I didn't love myself enough to realize the damage I was causing myself by when this one hurt me, I'm going back over here. And I didn't take his feelings into consideration at the time neither, because I was just like, well, you here, you my friend, we doing what we do, but I'm not taking him seriously and not realizing, like, me leaving him all the time and going back to what hurt me probably was like, why the hell are you doing me like that? So that's probably why we don't have the best relationship to this day with neither one of them. But, I'm a big girl now and I can own up and man up to the role I played in that ping pong table. And that's just because I didn't love me. I was prone to depression because I didn't love me. I had to figure out who I was. And once I figured out who I was, then, it made sense. And I had to let it all go. So
Hi, Sonia. We are talking about depression and things that
Hi.
we've been through our life that got us depressed. I like your hair.
Thank you.
You're
I've been through
welcome.
that
So,
depression stage before too, so I can
how did
relate.
you how did you hand how did you handle when you went through your depression? How did you handle uh you know how did you handle it? How did you what got you depressed? Put it like that. What brought your depression on firstly?
First, like my daughter's father, and it was like when he abandoned us, and it was like it hurted me because I'm the type of person, if I'm with you, I'm with you. I got your back, and I love hard. But when you abandon me and your child that we have together, that's like, and we was married at the time too. Just gonna up and just leave for no reason at all. That's not.
so this was
I
your
felt like,
husband?
yes.
Wow. Hmm. I'm sorry to
So
hear
I
that.
so I had to be like both. When she seen him, I would never deny him from seeing her. But for it's me and him, mm-mm. So I had,
And then you said that you he had cheated on you and then end up dying.
yes, yes. So I had to pick myself up, not just for me, but I had to pick myself up for my child. Because I was in a rut for a minute. I didn't want to get up. I didn't. It was like for a minute, but I had to tell myself, no, get up. And God was like, get up. Everything is gonna be all right. So I had to get myself together, not just for myself, but for my child too. I had to get myself together. I was like, I'm not gonna let the devil steal my joy, my peace. I'm like, I'm not gonna let the devil take me down like that. No. So I like picked myself up, got myself together, keep praying, focus on my child and God first of all. Focus on my child. I'm playing like right now. I'm playing both parts, mom and dad.
Hmm.
So and
Come with the
keep
question, Paula. I know you, girl. You done took yourself off the you done
Well,
took
I
yourself
do have a
unmuted
question, but I
yourself.
don't want to offend. But Sonia, you were in an abusive relationship too, right?
it wasn't abusive, but he just like he took me for granted.
Hmm. Okay.
He took me for granted, and it was like I had to do what I had to do, and I had to tell myself enough is enough. I couldn't take it no more. when you telling me you want your family, you keep when you relieve, then you keep trying to come, keep coming back, and I take you back. The last time I was like, enough is enough. I can't do it. I can't do it.
And then
How
how
long
long
were you?
after that
I'm
did he
sorry.
pass away? I'm sorry, I had to leave out of the live and come back, so I probably missed some information. But how long after that did he pass away? And then did that cause some depression for you? And then how did you
Yeah,
cope
it
through that
kind of
loss?
right. It did cause a little depression for me because that's my daughter's father, and I still loved him because he's my daughter's father, even though he left. So I had to, pick up the pieces. I had to make all the friendly arrangements. I did not have help doing nothing, but I had that moral support. My mom was my backbone. She's like, "What you need me to do?" But for his family, I didn't have that emotional support.
Mm. How long were you
Mm,
married?
Gemini is asking, was he mentally abusive?
Mentally, a little bit. He was mentally
But you
abusive.
said he cheated on you. Okay,
Cheated.
who's getting ready to
Exactly.
ask this question? Go
I just
ahead,
want to
Sonia.
know. I just want to know how long were you married to him?
We was married 5 years.
okay.
So in the beginning of our marriage, everything was like all good. And it was like everything like towards I don't know, towards like maybe the middle or the end, that's when things just went left. So
And
it's
how
like
soon after you found out he cheated on you did he pass away?
maybe 3 months, 4 months after.
Wow. Did he ever explain to you why, or did you, when you found out, how did you find out? And were you able to like get a reason, or did he explain to you why he did what he did?
The reason why he's talking about that the girl came on him. I'm like, it takes two. It takes two. You
Right.
had something to do with that too. Not just her. You too. So how you gonna say the girl came on you and got on top of you and stuff like that when you played a part in that too?
Hmm.
I'm not stupid. It takes two to act.
Mhm.
So he
But
didn't
you
like
was
say he was missing something emotionally with you, or he didn't say, well, you wasn't there for me. Nothing like that. Nothing like that. It was just kind of
no,
like I was tempted, and it was the heat of the
exactly. He was
moment, and she came on to me.
exactly,
I kind of just
exactly.
gave
That's what
him
he said.
pressure.
Cause I
Wow.
gave him everything. I'm, I was there emotionally, everything.
And were you able
So
to forgive him before he left, or was there
the thing,
still anger that you were harboring for that reason?
I was harboring the anger, but I had to learn. I'm like, the last thing I remember, I just went before he passed. I just went on, like, went off, in a nice way, but I
Mm-hmm.
went off,
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, I didn't want to talk to you no more. You got you. Little my daughter has her own phone. You call her. I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to deal with you. I'm done. That was my exact words to him. So, because he kept saying I'm his wife, but yet, why would you go outside our marriage? And then the girl is younger, 21, 22.
Mm.
Co- Come to find out, the girl was pregnant, but and then he denied about that, talking about I
Oh,
don't know if the child is mine.
oh wow.
So did you ever find out if the child was his later down the
No,
line? No.
no.
So we
So
don't
it's
even
like
know if your daughter has a sibling out there or not.
no.
Wow.
So it's like like she is, like I said before, it's days where she has her good days and bad days because she's still dealing with it. She's 12 years old, so she dealing with it.
And how old was she
And
when he passed away?
she was 11.
Okay. Wow.
So, you know, it's like she's still, dealing with it, but she handling it good. But she has her moments where she cries, and I, comfort her and stuff. Everything gonna be all right. So I encourage her. So I know it's gonna take a minute, take a while for her to get over that. But
Hmm.
because my dad died when I was 6, so I know how I feel,
Hmm.
you know. But I had them. I after my dad passed, I had those positive male role models in my life where my goddad, then my brother's father, before they even was conceived, he came into the picture, put me on his insurance, everything. He took me in as his own child.
Hmm.
So
Sofa, did you want to
I
ask a question, Sofa? Did you want to? I'm sorry. Did you want to ask her a question?
Um, not right now. I was just listening.
Oh, okay. I wanted to make sure I was just checking in on you. Okay,
Mhm.
go ahead, Sonia.
so now I have another positive role model is which is my pastor, and she has that father figure role model in her life because he's always encouraging us, always where we need something he always there. So I have that, she has some, and then the brothers in the church, the kids always encouraging her, always there for her if she needs something, if I need something. So I have that positive energy around me, that encouragement around me. And my mom is my rock. She's there for me, supportive. So I had that support system.
Are you open to dating again?
I'm open. I'm open because I'm not gonna say I'm never gonna give up on love because I'm not, because I do want to get married again. So I'm very open to dating.
That's good. It's a beautiful thing. Everybody, needs somebody. You need companionship. You need to get out there and date. And, somebody might come on and be an amazing father figure for your daughter. So you
Oh
never know.
yeah, oh yeah. And I just wake up every morning just looking at her because she looks just like him.
Mm,
So
And
I know that feeling.
Paula,
Yep.
you got another question, Paula?
Oh, I
I
was.
can tell she do when
I,
she unmute herself.
well, I'll be trying to cover up some of this background noise because my kids are being loud. I don't want that to
Girl,
play in the
mine too.
background.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
But
my kids too.
Sonia, I wanted to ask you, if you had to seek counseling after the death of your husband, I know that you said you dealt with some depression and wanted to know how were you able to cope with it?
from like my support system, I talk to my pastor a lot. When I get into that, if I get back into that stage, I go talk to him, and he always encourage me, everything, lift my spirits. Something that, like, don't go into that depression stage, and we pray together. So I got that emotional support, everything.
And for those people who are listening that have a church background, since we're talking about depression today, I know that a lot of people that go to church will try to say that depression is of the devil. That's nothing but the
No, it's not.
demon inside of you. What are you guys' feeling on that? Is depression the devil? Do you feel like that's a demonic entity that's taking over your body, or do you think that that's just something that we all go through and it's not
That me
necessarily
personally,
inspired by the
It's an
devil?
emotion. Let me
that's an
answer my
emotion.
thought. It's an emotion. It's an emotion. It's not a dynamic spirit. It's not an evil spirit. we have emotions. We happy, we're sad, we have different emotions. Anger is an emotion, happiness is an emotion, sadness
Joy.
is an emotion, yeah, and joy, it's an emotion. It's not a
Right.
dynamic spirit. So
Right.
that's my answer.
Mhm.
That's my answer as
What about
well.
uh-huh.
I agree. I
Uh-huh.
agree.
Gemini 75
Gemini, what do
says
you think?
she says she thinks it's a
Oh,
chemical
Kim
imbalance. And
imbalance.
that's true.
Yeah.
A lot of people that suffer from depression, sometimes they haven't even gone through any traumatic experience in life. And it can, science does say that it can be a chemical imbalance in the brain that just kind of triggers it. I know that with my depression, it comes off and on sometimes. Like I can have it going on, everything is good in my life, everything is Gucci, and then all of a sudden I can feel sad for no reason. I could just go into
Mhm.
a state of depression, and my friends will be looking at me like, girl, what's wrong with you? You got a good job, you got your kids, your kids are doing well, you're doing well in life, you have a beautiful home, why are you sad? And it's just like I can't even explain it sometimes. I can't
Is
explain
Exactly.
why
that
I'm sad.
Paula,
You
can you
just
um
take
get
over? I'm about to step away for a minute and go have a cigarette break. Can you take over, Paula?
Oh, sure. Yeah, no problem.
Okay,
I was just
go
gonna
ahead.
ask Paula, do you think that would be classified as like a bipolar depression?
Yes, and I do have bipolar disorder as well.
Okay,
I do.
okay,
Just
okay.
to put that out there, I've
Okay.
already made it vocal on my platform, so it's not news. It might be news to some other people that are new over here at
Mm,
Tracy's channel, but it's
Mhm.
not news to my supporters. Yes, I do have
okay,
bipolar disorder.
How?
okay.
I have a question, Paula.
Mhm.
What like on your bad days? What do you do when you get to that stage?
Like to get through it, or just some of the things that I might do to just
To get through it.
I do a lot of reading my Bible, devotionals. I do a lot of praying. I might call and talk to somebody. I go to my therapy sessions. And sometimes I'll just try to do something that makes me happy. I like to do journaling. I do a lot of
Mhm.
journaling.
I do too.
Um,
That
Ooh,
helps a
yes,
lot.
yes, I have a lot of those happy planners. So, I will take my happy planners out and just start, doing some planning and stuff, and I have the little sticker books and everything. I like to get real artsy with
correct.
things, and just to try to get
Yes.
my mind off
Oh
of
yeah.
things and get creative and journaling, and it's really cute. And I have the little gel pens and everything, and
Girl. Yeah.
yes, I
Mhm.
need to probably make a
Right.
video about it, but
Do you
Yes.
make videos often on your channel now, or?
I have been on a hiatus for a while. I think I left on April 5th. I think that was the last day I posted a video. And
Wow.
I'm just kind of, I don't know, I've been enjoying my break from YouTube. I just feel like it was beginning to be too much. It was
Mhm.
draining me physically
Social
and
media can
spiritually.
be,
And
yeah, social media is a beast. It can drive you to depression because
hmm
Oh
social
yeah.
media, especially the YouTube streets, they will spit you up and chew you out alive and leave you on the side of the road and keep on trucking. These streets are mean, nasty, gritty, grimy, and
oh, yes.
you gotta have
And
tough skin for something like this. And a lot of people don't know how to detox from it because they're probably addicted
Mhm.
to the drama and the attention that comes with it. But you definitely need a detox from a realm like YouTube. So
oh, yeah.
kudos to
Right.
you, Paula. Big
I
kudos.
have
Oh
to. And
yeah.
I have to, like, just,
Yes. Kudos.
follow my mind and my spirit when my spirit is going to guide me to come back to YouTube. I've kind of been like, coming to Tracy's panel. I feel like I can handle that much. But as far as me going back to my
Mhm.
channel as often as I was, I'm just not ready for that right now. Spiritually,
Okay.
I'm in a
Mhm.
good place mentally right now. I have,
Mhm.
I don't know, Sofa Time Talk with Kels. I know you're familiar with some of the slander and the lies that were put out on me. And,
Yeah.
as much as we try to play tough and we try to say, oh, that shit doesn't bother you. I mean, it does get to a point where it bothers you, especially when lies are being told about you, when your reputation is being destroyed, when
Right.
people are looking
Right.
at you a certain way, especially newer people that are coming on here. They don't know one way or another to think. So they're going to automatically go wherever the popular, wherever the popular crew is going. So to have people believe horrendous things about me, that hurts. It hurt me to a point. And I'm not gonna say
Wow.
that that's the whole entire reason why I left my platform, but it's just I want a peace of mind. I
Mhm.
want to
Exactly. You
protect
got to.
my peace and my
Mental health.
energy.
Mental health is very important.
And
Mental
I'm
health
not
is
going to
very
allow
important.
someone to destroy my mental health. I'm not going to let a bunch of
Exactly.
strangers take me out. You know what I'm saying? So I will remove myself from the equation, you know what I'm saying, for a little while,
Exactly.
however long that needs to be.
Mhm.
Exactly.
Because,
Exactly.
at the end of the day, they ain't giving a fuck about you. I mean, I could end up in the
Exactly.
psych ward. I could end up fucking dead in the street and they wouldn't give a shit about me. You know
Nope.
what I'm saying? So
Exactly.
Paula has to care about Paula at the end of the day and do what I
Exactly. You
have to do
have
to take
to.
care of P.
Exactly.
Exactly. You have to be. You have to have that mindset. You have to take care of yourself and your kids. So you have
Hmm.
to.
And if I'm no good mentally, physically, spiritually, I can't take care of my kids. I can't be
Exactly.
here for my
Exactly.
grandson because I
Exactly.
have a grandson that's here now.
Oh,
So
Mhm.
congratulations.
yeah, he
Oh
was born on
yes.
May 3rd, you guys. But yes, I have
Oh.
another human being
Oh.
that I have to live for and I have to be strong for. So,
Oh
he
yes.
definitely put a lot
Oh
of
yes.
I did a lot of soul searching and thinking, especially after he was born as well. Before he came into this world, I was like, damn, I'm about to be a grandmother. Like, do I really want to be sitting on this platform going back and forth with people that I don't know? Like, it just makes no
Exactly.
sense. For
Yes.
what?
Oh
So
Yes.
yes, that's
yeah.
so true. And I had
Knowing
to do the
yourself
same thing as
work.
far as my daughter.
Yeah.
As far as my daughter, I had to get my mind set together, get me mentally, spiritually, everything together. Not just for me, but for my child too.
Right.
Mhm.
Because I wouldn't be able to be no good if I didn't.
No, we have to
I'm
protect
back.
our mental health. Like our mental health, our brains are one of the most important organs on our body. Like if our brains don't function, nothing else is functioning on our bodies.
Right.
Nothing. Like your heart,
Exactly.
your lungs, all of that, it requires your brain. And if your brain is not healthy because you're suffering abuse or you're suffering from depression, you're suffering from a number of other psychological issues and you're not being treated, that can
Mm-hmm.
destroy
Right.
you. That can literally kill you. It can literally kill you. And that's
Exactly.
why I'm so glad that Tracy came today to discuss depression. I told her
Oh
I'm
yeah.
100 behind her 100% behind this topic because
Oh
I
yeah. Me
suffer
too.
from a numerous of issues myself. I come from a family history of people that suffer from depression or other psychological issues. And
Right.
I believe that the awareness needs to be spread. It needs to be put out there. It's such a
I
taboo
agree. Yes.
topic. Nobody
Yes.
wants to talk about
Because
it. Black people, we don't. A lot of people are
talk
in
about.
denial about their issues in the Black community.
Hmm.
I'm going to be looked at as crazy. They're going to see me as a
But you're
psycho
not.
person.
But you're not. Right.
But
But you're
we're
not.
not crazy. We're human. We're human
Exactly.
beings.
Exactly.
We're
Because I
human
had to
beings that
deal
go through it.
like right. Plus, I was like I had to deal with it when I was molested when I was younger. So I had to.
See you later, Sofa
That,
Time. We'll see you again, and we enjoyed having you on the panel. Take care. Gemini
Yeah, she left
75
out.
says, I have two grandsons. They have brought me so much happiness. I'd rather be with them. Thank anybody. Yes, absolutely.
yes.
It's a beautiful
Yes.
thing.
Did
God
did
bless you and
Sofa
your
sub to me? Who
grandchildren.
did she sub to?
I think
Who? I just
Gemini
didn't
sub
understand.
to Sofa Time Talk with Kels, and yes, that's a good channel to subs to. Gemini 75. She has a lot of great topics and discussions on her channel as well. So that yes, definitely a channel that you want to sub
Okay.
to, Gemini 75. And Sonia, if you don't have Sofa Time Talk with Kels, I would suggest you subscribe to. She also
Okay.
covers a
I
lot of
sure
those
will.
the baby mama
I
channels.
hope
I'm
she.
kind of interested in that
I
too,
hope
like Strong Mommy
I
Chrissy
hope
and
she
stuff like that.
subscribed to. I hope she subbed to me. She in my channel.
Yeah, I think
So
she
it's
is because
like
she seems to pop up a lot. So I think she would be. I think she subscribed to you. Yeah.
hmm.
Okay.
So I know I was suffering from depression also from when I was younger when I was molested by my cousin and my uncle. So
Hmm.
I
Yep,
had went
that
to
the
therapy for that.
traumatic experiences like that will cause depression. I have family members that have gone through similar situations, and that type of stuff will scar you for life. You will
Oh
constantly
yeah.
have triggers. You will constantly suffer from post-traumatic stress disorder behind
Oh
that stuff
yeah.
too, because it's a trauma. It's a trauma that
It
you
Oh
suffer.
yeah.
is, and anything can
So
trigger
I
it. A song, a smell, a street. I
yes.
remember
Oh
one
yes.
time when me and my husband broke up. I would go to the old neighborhoods that we would be in, or old restaurants that we would go to, and I would just cry. I mean,
Oh yeah.
triggers. It could be an area. It could be a song. It could
Yeah.
be,
Yeah.
I know my mom was
you
telling
know.
me, that it was a certain Tina Marie song that kind of triggered her because that was a song that her and her abuser would listen to. So she would be triggered by that song.
Hmm.
She would tell me to turn it off, and I'm like, Mom, that's my song. She's like, oh, I'm sorry, but it does something to me. Can you please turn this off? And so I
It's like
understand,
Hmm.
yeah, eat something as small as a song or the smell or some sort of
mhm.
food or a certain
Or you
meal
go to
or
that place where it happened at,
yep,
because that'll trigger.
it takes you right back to that place or an
Mhm.
experience. I know Sofa Time talks with Kels talked about how she was abused, and I know some people that are suffering from post-traumatic stress disorder, they come across something that may trigger them, and it may take them back to a scene in their life where they were being beat on in a situation, and they can remember that vividly, like it just happened all over again. It's serious.
Mhm. Because I
Hmm.
know the last time I went to my grandmother's house and we was in the basement and I was helping her clean out her closet and stuff. That's where my uncle, which is her brother, molested me yet. So it's like it gave me a flashback for a minute. I'm like, No, so my grandmother cleaned up the basement and everything. I'm like,
Yeah.
I was like, she was like, you all right? I said, yeah, grandma, I'm all right. Cause I was like, it just brought me back to that space. I'm like, But then uh, as the time went on, I'm like, I got over it, and I wasn't thinking about it because I kept thinking about what I do, but I know it wasn't me. I was young, so I didn't know what was going on.
Hmm.
So, and then
Yeah.
when I went to the
Mental abuse. People think mental abuse is just as bad, or worse than physical. I think.
Yeah, I think it can be worse sometimes. The
Oh yeah,
scars that you
you carry
suffer
that
from
around for
mental
years.
abuse, because
Oh,
that stuff can,
mhm
put a hold on you, like you said, for years. You can suffer behind
for
something or
years.
really believe, like if
oh
someone's
yeah
telling you that you ain't shit or telling you you fat, you
mhm
disgusting, you're
Oh
undesirable,
yeah.
nobody's gonna want you, that type of
mhm
psychological damage, like hearing that all the time, you will become to the point where you believe it, and
mhm
Oh yeah.
you will lose your self-esteem, you will lose yourself,
Oh God.
and
Oh
it's
yeah.
just
yes
it's an
yes.
ugly place to be in. It's an ugly place to be in. Yeah.
But by therapy and by me going to church and praying, it helped me a whole lot
Oh
through
yeah.
everything.
Yeah. When I first entered the church in the last couple of years, like that literally saved my life. And I'm not really like a whole, I don't place myself in any sort of religious category. I'm just a spiritual person. And the church for me is not about being a Christian or being a Catholic or anything like that, but just being around other like-minded people that believe in God, believe in the Holy Spirit, um, have some sort of spirituality, and just the communion and the community, being able to pray with more than one person, because one prayer goes away, but when you're praying with 10 other people, that
Oh
prayer
yes,
can be 10 times
those
powerful. You know what I'm saying? So I go for the
yes,
community and just to have the support of other people. And I love the
oh
the
yes,
music, I love the singing, the gospel music. I love me some gospel music on a Sunday morning, honey. And really
Hmm.
mhm.
any day of the week, really when I'm
Well,
feeling
yeah, 'cause I
down.
wake up after me and my daughter pray together. I get help her if she need help. I cook. I after I cook breakfast and stuff, I just when I clean up and stuff, I start my day with just gospel music,
Oh yeah.
cleaning up everything. That's how I start my day.
Mhm.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, it just does something to your soul hearing that music, and sometimes you just want to cry.
Girl, I
It
be
is it,
crying. I be in my car listening
oh,
to the gospel music on the way to work, and
praising.
I just
Okay,
cry like the tears just
praising
flow
God,
from my eyes, and
praising
it's
Him.
just like an uncontrollable situation where I just get so emotional listening to gospel music. I thought I was the only one, but I cry all the time listening to it.
Hmm.
Hmm.
It just affects your spirit. It's something that does something to your spirit. You know what I'm saying? It's so much healing in song. You know, back in the day, us we always had song. We'd be on a plantation in the field picking cotton singing. Song
Hmm.
has all music has always been that's in our DNA. And something
Music has
about
been my
music.
therapy. Music has
Oh
been
yeah.
therapy for me, just
Oh yeah.
getting through my depression and my issues that I have sometimes. I play a certain
Oh
song
yeah.
and my spirit can be uplifted that fast.
Oh yeah.
Oh
Absolutely.
yes,
Absolutely. I
oh
mean,
yes. That's how I start my day. I love it.
mhm.
It keeps me
I
motivated.
the Clark sisters and that one oh my favorite song. I don't know why I can never think of his name. We fall down, but we get up.
Donnie McClurkin.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Donovan Clark.
Yeah.
I can never remember his name, but oh yes, it just does something to you. You know, but no,
Oh
depression
yes.
is a feeling. It's not a dynamic spirit, and um, it can. And like Gemini said, for the hormone imbalance, the chemical imbalance. Um, I think I have some chemical imbalance, but I suffer from depression from things that happen to me, life experiences more than a chemical imbalance. Mine is not, chemical imbalance is when you're just depressed and nothing happened to you at all. You're born that way. Mine was from incidents,
Hmm.
situations, life experiences, life things that happened to me that caused me to have this problem. And maybe I do have a chemical imbalance somewhere up in there. I think we all got some kind of imbalance, but
Yeah.
I know more mine was more situational issues that happened to me that messed my mind up a little bit, the I was, being tormented the way I was tormented when I was in elementary school and junior high. It tormented me and it stayed with me and it affected me growing up.
I think
That's where mine
for
came
some
from.
people they may have a chemical imbalance in their brain, and how we handle trauma in certain situations may be different from other people that may not be suffering from depression, bipolar disorder in my case, or other mental health issues. Like a lot of people will like to compare themselves to me sometimes and say, "Well, Paula, I went through that and I didn't react that way," or I didn't get upset when this happened to me and blah blah blah. And I'm like, well, we're two different people, and you have to think we have two different brains. There is some sort of
Mhm.
chemical imbalance in the brain when
Mhm.
you're suffering from
Mhm.
any sort of psychological disorder, and it's going to be situational. Of course, something is going to trigger it. It's going to be some sort of trauma that you experience that's going to trigger it. And so we handle things differently than a person that may not be suffering from those issues, if you get what I'm trying to say. Um, and so we might eat our issues off. Some people might smoke their issues off or drink their issues off. And it's because
Mhm.
they don't really know how to deal with it in a healthy way, you know,
Mhm. Mhm.
until you go to
Mhm.
therapy and you
Absolutely.
learn the healthy way to deal with things, you know? until you talk to God and learn how to handle your situation in a more healthy manner.
And get it and see it and see professional help, counselor or something. Because one thing I like about talking to a therapist or counselor is because they're not going to be biased. They don't know you, so they're going to be honest with you. They're going to give you their honest opinion. They're going to sit there and listen, and you don't have to worry about them judging you or going
Oh
back telling
yes.
someone in your circle. You can sit there freely and just really open up. You don't have to worry about them running telling your neighbor. You know what I'm saying? Is and
Right.
they're not
I like
biased.
that confidentiality too. Like, you know that they're not going to go
Yeah,
tell somebody else. And even if they do share it with somebody else,
yeah.
it's not going to get back to anybody that you know, where it can affect you. So it's like,
No,
you know,
exactly.
whatever you're talking about is going to stay
Hmm.
in those walls. And that's what I love about
Exactly.
the confidentiality of going to the
Hmm.
therapist and knowing that my
Hmm.
secrets can be held in that office.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
It goes no further than that.
Hmm.
I'm glad you brought up that
And
confidentiality
they're not
piece. It's
going to
so
be.
important.
Oh yeah, they're not going to be biased. They're going to tell you the truth. They're
Oh
not gonna.
yes. That's
They
so
don't have
true.
anything to win. They don't have to worry about your feelings. They're gonna tell you straight up, look, this and that and the other. They're gonna give you some things to think about. They're gonna give you some other another. They're gonna be looking at it from a totally different perspective because they don't know you.
Hmm.
They don't know you whatsoever.
So,
They have nothing invested in you, so they can tell you and give you some solid, good advice from
Oh yes,
a
they sure
perspective.
do.
Yeah, because they
my
don't know you.
therapist
They
used to get smart with me. When we used to touch on the
don't.
subject of why I care so much about what other people think about me. I had this issue before
Uh-huh.
I even came to YouTube.
Hmm.
Hold on, you guys. Hold on.
I have that. I suffer from that too. Worried about what people think, and worried about what people say, and worried about how they feel about me. That has been a issue of mine for a long time as well. And I've got to the point now. I learned that I can't. Their thoughts are their thoughts. They own their thoughts. They own their opinion. I can't change their thoughts of me. I can't change the way they view me, and I can't worry about how they feel about me. If you worry
I,
about how everybody feel about you, huh? Would you say, Sonia?
I was like, I used to think, I used to think how people used to feel about me or what they thought about me, but then I did come to that realization. It's all about me. I don't care what people think about me or how they feel about me.
It
I'm like,
it took me
I
a while
know my
to get
self
there
worth
too.
and I know my independence. I know
Uh-huh.
everything. So whatever,
Exactly.
it's like there's people that was jealous of me, but I didn't look over that.
Mhm.
Used to tease me, everything. I'm like,
Mhm.
I used to cry about it, but
Mhm.
then I had to realize I just laugh about it now.
Hmm.
Yeah, and it took me a while to get to that point because I've always suffered from that, worried about how people feel about you and um oh, okay, no problem, Sofa. She just came back to say that she enjoyed us and her kids were acting up. Yeah, I used to always worry about worrying about what people think and worry about how they feel, and I came to realization that I can't waste no more of my energy and time worrying about what people think of me and how they feel about me because no matter what, somebody always gonna have something to say. No matter
Oh
Right.
what
yes,
you do, no matter what you do, they gonna find something to say. So,
and that's so true.
But as long as you know those things that they're saying about you is not true, those things
Exactly.
should not matter, because
uh-huh,
especially if it's not
uh-huh.
stopping anything that you're doing in your life, it's not stopping your bag, it's not stopping your relationships, it's not stopping your friendship. Nothing in your world is stopping because of what people on the outside are thinking about you.
Exactly.
Then
And I had to
why
come to a
do you
realization of
have to
that.
be so concerned about it? My therapist used to
Mhm.
get on me all the time, like, but Paula, why do you care so much? Why do you care so much? Why does it bother you so
Mhm.
much? And
Mhm.
I really couldn't even think of any logical reasons as to why I cared so much.
I can give you one. You cared about how they think about you because you didn't really have the confidence in yourself. See, when you get confidence in yourself, not you per se, but a person, when you really love yourself and you really know who you are and you really have that confidence in yourself, you wouldn't give a ooh, I can't say the cuss word. You wouldn't care. You
Right.
wouldn't care how they
Mm-hmm.
feel about it.
Right.
I
And
want
that's
this
where
video.
she was getting at. Like, she's like, but if that's not true, Paula, then why do you care?
Mm-hmm.
She kept saying that. If it's not true, Paula, why do you care? If it's not, and
Exactly.
I began to be like, you know what? You're right. It really doesn't matter because it's not the truth. But then you look at your reputation. You don't want your reputation to be destroyed in the community. You know what I'm saying? But it's like, and I'm not even speaking just about YouTube, but about something that happened in my personal life on my job, where I felt like people were going to look at me a certain way for something that happened, and I know that I'm not a certain way, but because of what I was accused of at that time, it could have been perceived that way. And so I, had a hard time dealing with that situation at that point. It happened in 2017. And it took me a while. Like I went into depression about that. And once everything was cleared up, I was able to feel better and, going to therapy and just saying, those things are not true. You know that you're not that type of person. You know that you're not a monster, and you have to get over that situation. You really do.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So that's how I have been able to cope with just knowing that everybody's gonna have an opinion. People are always gonna judge you to the day you die. Um,
Exactly.
we can't avoid that. We're all judges, you know what I'm saying? So whether people are right about you or wrong, people are gonna have an opinion, regardless.
Exactly.
Gemini
Mm-hmm.
75 says, whatever anyone thinks of you is their problem, not yours. Their thoughts will not send you to heaven or hell. That is so
Okay.
true.
Exactly. Amen.
You cannot
Hello.
convict me or condemn me to any place that my God is not
Uh-huh.
sending me. Okay, you are not my leader.
Hallelujah.
You do not determine where I'm going. I've heard people say you need to repent to God. You need to do this and that. You're gonna get this and that is gonna happen to you. But it's like, who are you though? Are you God?
Exactly.
Do you determine my destiny? No, you don't. So you don't get to make those decisions about what's going to happen to me,
Exactly.
sweetheart. So yeah, Gemini 75, I agree with you
I
100% on
agree.
that.
Definitely. Also.
Yeah, yeah, yep. A lot of people try to use religion and put that over your head and try to make you feel guilty about certain things. But as long as I know that I have a relationship with God and I deal with things and I'm convicted for the things that I have done, that's all I need to know.
Amen.
I don't need you to tell me where I'm gonna go and what I'm gonna deal with and who's gonna do this and that to me down the road, whatever. Because I have a relationship with God, I'm going to deal with that. Me and him, me and that man gonna deal with it. You know what I'm saying? Whatever that I have done on this earth.
Exactly.
But I try to be good for the most part. Um, and sometimes we human we react, we react to certain things, we respond, and we're just being human. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can
Mm-hmm.
only take so much. You can only take
Exactly.
so much mental abuse off of people. You can only take so much as a human. Ooh, I'm about to lose my voice. And I think we all get to a breaking point.
Oh yeah.
And you could be suffering so much behind closed doors, and one situation can tip you off, and you can end up blowing your lid and just snapping.
Oh yeah. That is so true. That is so true. I have done that. Then I had to go back and apologize.
Yeah, you have to go back and apologize to the people that you may have hurt. on your snapping spree. But
Mm-hmm.
sometimes we just get pushed beyond our limits as human beings.
Oh yeah.
And so I totally understand. But that's all about, it all boils down to going back to protecting your peace, protecting your mental health,
Exactly.
protecting your energy, protecting your space, not allowing people to take you out of your positive place. Because people will try to take you out of your shell. They will try to
Oh
take you out
yeah.
your body. They enjoy seeing you get like that.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I
They
was listening
enjoy
to
seeing you acting a fool.
there's this guy named Trent Shelton.
Oh, I listen to him sometimes. Hmm.
He's a motivator speaker.
Yep. I saw him on Facebook.
Yes, and he did a video on protecting your peace. I'm like,
Yes.
wow.
Hmm.
I'm like, wow, yes.
But it's so true. You have to protect your peace, even down to people that are not content creators on here. I say even the supporters, you have to protect your peace on some of the stuff that we have to witness on YouTube, and some of the back and forth, the bullying, the cyberbullying, the attacks, the
Mm-hmm.
exposures. I saw somebody over here being revenge porn. Somebody was exposing nude photos of somebody. It's just like, sometimes you have to protect your peace, even watching some people's content. Sometimes if you take too much of the negativity in watching that stuff go on, it can kind of vex
Mm-hmm.
your spirit.
And negative
And it,
energy jumps on
yes,
you.
that negative energy can sit on you, and you can soak in it and absorb that negative energy. Even if you're not a negative person, like that type of energy can come off on you,
Oh yeah.
and it can affect you. So, you have to be careful about what you watch and what you tune into. I know us ladies, we like to watch the drama and the Housewives of Atlanta and Love and Hip Hop and all those types of things. But
No, I don't even watch that. I used to. I'm like,
I used to watch it, but as I got older, I kind of like veered off from watching those type of
Yeah,
shows,
I
because
did too. I'm
it
like,
just
I don't
got to
even
a
watch it
point
no more.
where it's like, really, like these women are in their 40s and they're jumping over tables, fighting each other, throwing bottles at each other. Like, when do we get to a point where we grow up? Like, where do we grow up and sit down and have a mature conversation without throwing hands? It's just like,
Exactly.
I don't want to tune into my TV and watch grown women fighting each other. Like, it's a lot more to life
Mm-mm.
than watching that, you know.
And that's true. You have to be careful because what you watch on TV, you consuming it. Just like if you eat sitting at the table eating dinner, you're taking that stuff in. You're consuming it. It's in your
Exactly.
mind. It's in your brain. It's in your thoughts. And when you start watching something all the time, you start consuming it. I had to leave a group I was in. I'm not gonna mention the name on here on the YT because it was consuming me. It was draining me. And I would get off of that person's live because I was a moderator, and I would just start crying for no reason because I had so much going on in my life, and then listening to her do all that stuff she was doing, it was consuming me. And it
Hmm.
was like it was taking over, and I felt like a black cloud. You have to be careful what we take in. It's
Yep,
just
you
like
are.
our
Mm-hmm.
food. We're feeding our brain, we're feeding our mind.
Hmm.
What you watching on TV is food. You're
Yep,
feeding yourself.
Yes.
yep,
You have to be around positive people, not negative people. You have to have that positive energy around you. Because,
Right.
like I said, negative energy will jump on you.
Exactly. Exactly.
That's
and
why I
I always
always
Exactly.
say
do my best
YouTube
to
is
stay
the
around
devil's
positive.
playground. It is the devil's playground on YouTube. You have to be
Girl,
careful.
girl.
You have to be
Everybody got on their
careful.
skates and they got on their rollerblades and they got the skateboard. Everybody rolling around on YouTube doing all kind of fuckery. On their skateboard, rollerblades, what else? They bicycles. Girl.
And they pulling the
Okay, big
fuckery on and off the scenes. They behind the scenes pulling strings, on troll accounts, trying to pose as different people, trying to steal people's identities, trying to frame other people for
doxing.
doing it,
I
doxing
mean,
people. It's
That's so
laughing at
true.
you. exploiting you, taking taking your content that you get on your platform and you tell your story that's sensitive to your people, to your subscribers that rock with you, and then they take your stuff and use it against you. Oh, it's terrible.
And so
It's
I
terrible.
get so scared to even share my life or share experiences, even having gone on here to say as much as I have about my own depression. It's like, damn, I gotta be scared because on the flip side, somebody might try to make a video and judge me for going through something that a lot of
Girl,
us humans go, like 1 in 4
yeah,
people suffer from depression. Like that's a lot of people.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
yeah.
Like I'm not the only
Be in the
person in this
bushes,
world.
be in the bushes watching, and then yeah, because I know
And then laughing.
and I'm a
And then
worry
laughing,
wart.
but then suffering from depression they damn
And
self,
make
but want to
fun
laugh
of
at you.
uh-huh, uh-huh. And then I'd be worried about sometimes, people well, never mind. I leave that to sometimes I get I feel a certain type of way because I had a couple trolls come on my channel when I went live the last time just to not be involved in my topic, but to um promote their channel, and I don't like that. You know, don't come on here if you're not going to be involved in my topic and engage with me. You coming on talking about the video you just did, talking about your channel and all that, and I felt a certain type of way about that.
Yep. Yep. It's happening all over YouTube, Gemini 75. It's a lot of crazy stuff. That's why I said I'm not in a rush to come back to my platform because it's just too much going on at this point, and I don't want to be caught up in the
Wait a
middle of
minute.
it. I don't. I don't want
What
to be
about
caught up in the middle of the
what
drama.
about what about my little petty situation I just mentioned? You just ignored what I said, Effa.
Oh, yeah, I kind of don't, you know the reason why I don't really want to touch on that issue is because I don't, yeah. We gonna
Yeah,
have to talk
okay,
off
what?
camera about that one. But
Okay,
Amen.
okay. That girl, shit, that be
yeah,
making me mad.
you know how I feel
And I
about
don't
that
mind.
situation.
I don't mind people, coming in if you're engaging and you're in the conversation. Then fine, but don't just come on here and just do that just for that. I don't like that.
Yes,
But
and
anyway,
Exactly.
I have seen other people like going through the same issue that you speak about as far as people coming to your platform to try to just for self promotion to promote their channel, promote their self, and they're really not focused on your topic. I have been seeing that going on recently on some of the content that I've been watching. And there's been some content creators calling people out like, hey, you just on my channel to promote. Like you're gonna have
yeah,
to move around
yeah.
because this
And,
is
and,
not
and
about
then
promoting yourself.
that's what
Like
they
we're
do. And then what they do is, and then they will gain. Okay, they come over here because my platform right now is so small
Mhm.
and it's so intimate. They come on here and leave out with three subs,
And sometimes more
and
than
I
that.
don't see them,
Sometimes they will come over and
and I
soak
don't
up
see them
all
no
of your
more.
subscribers. They will come and use you.
I, and I
People
don't
will
see
come
them
and
no more.
sit in your channel and they probably can't even stand you, but they're coming over to
I know.
steal your
And
subscribers,
then
get what they can
and after
about
they get
you.
they and then after they get their couple of subs, oh, okay, see you later. I can, they leave. I
Yep.
don't like that. I
Yeah,
feel
Mm-mm.
I
because
don't like that
I
either. But I've
I
always
don't
been
like
like
that
on
either.
my platform, I don't mind you
let me tell
sharing
you something.
your platform or saying that you have a
Yeah,
channel. I don't mind you, subbing and talking to each other. But when it's certain points where we talking about a serious topic or something, then
yeah,
I'm not gonna want you
yeah,
to come on my platform talking about subscribe to my channel because we're not talking about,
yeah.
making
And
friends
and,
and
and that's
subscribing
what
channels at this point.
that exactly.
Exactly.
And so and I feel like it happens to me all the time because I don't get a lot of people in here, and so they come on and they know small chats like this, or they gonna leave with some because they will engage with the few audience people in here and then walk away with them, and then I don't see them again, and they never sub to me. They never sub back, and you never see them again.
Hmm.
Okay, and come to do that. And that's not fair because I'm growing my channel organically. And my channel is not drama. Is it's not. And so I don't get a lot of people because I'm not drama. A lot of people are not, they don't come to me. They don't, YouTube don't push my videos out like that.
Mm.
So I'm kind of really, struggling here. And so don't come in here just to get your little subs and then you walk out. Shit.
Exactly.
Curly
That
Melon
happened to
said
me
you
last
clicked on the wrong video. No, you didn't click on the wrong video. We're having a positive discussion here, but for the most part we've been
I just
talking
threw
about
that in there.
depression.
I
Yeah.
just threw that in there. I'm sorry, Curly Melon. We're talking about depression.
Yeah, it's mental
Do
health
you suffer,
awareness month. So we're talking about depression, and
do
it's
you
something that we
suffer from
all
it,
go through.
Melon? Curly Melon, do you have any depression that you want to talk about, hun? Hello?
Hello.
Well, yeah.
Curly Melon said she clicked on the wrong video. She about to go to the next one. Okay, well, have a good day, Curly Melon. If you don't want to talk about what we're talking about tonight, we'll see you. We'll see you another day. We welcome you over here, though.
Okay. You don't want to talk about depression? Oh, I guess they left. Okay.
We probably left.
Have a good one. Thanks for dropping in.
Amen.
Well, I have to get ready to go, you guys. So
I do too. I
Okay.
gotta get my baby ready for bed so she can get up and do her work in the school work in the morning.
Okay.
and I have to get ready to go to work, you guys, because contrary to the popular belief, I do have a job. So I do got to
Okay.
go.
Amen.
Okay.
Have a
But I'll
good
let
day
people
at
Please,
believe
work.
what they want to believe, you know what I'm saying? But yeah,
well, there's 10 people in here now.
oh, it's
You
oh,
want to
it's
go ahead?
oh, it's 10
Yeah.
people.
You want to go ahead and tell them what we're talking about, Paula? The people in the
Bef-
bush.
before I go, I'll tell you guys, the people that are listening in the bushes. Hello, 10 people. Welcome to Tracy. She's so crazy. Don't forget to thumbs up the live, and you can also send a cash app if you want. Um, we are discussing depression.
Depression.
Depression. 1 in 4 Americans will suffer from depression at some point in their life or some sort of mental health um, issue. So we're just bringing a little bit of mental health awareness to the platform.
Awareness.
It's not too many people doing it.
Exactly.
Tracy has done it. One of the first people I know who has been brave enough to break the ice in the mold
And I
and
did a
get to
video
discuss the
on it
topic.
on Monday. Check it out.
Yep, please
Oh
do. And
yes, I seen the video.
feel free to join the panel if you want to, or chat in the chat box. You guys have a great night. I have to go. And Gemini 75, it was nice meeting you too. I don't know when I'm gonna come back to my channel, but when I do come back, I'll
She'll see
announce it
you
in
over,
the community section. So just be looking
and
out for
she'll
that.
see you over. And then Paula be back. Paula be over here with me every time I go live. So you'll find out when she'll say it over. She'll let you know.
So good night,
Check out her
ladies
community
and
tab.
gentlemen. Good night.
I'm getting ready to go too.
All right, Paula,
So
Tracy, good
you guys
night.
Good night,
have this.
Sonia.
Thank
Love
you.
y'all
Thank you for
guys.
working tonight, Gemini. Thank you for working. You guys have a good one.
God
You
bless
too.
everybody.
Love y'all guys.
God bless everyone. Bye bye.